Okay, I believe I am live now. How's everybody doing? Y'all having a good Saturday? And who's ready to watch some wrestling? Watch some Saturday night's main event and Clash of Champions. Should be fun. Okay, I believe I am live now. How's everybody doing? Y'all having a good Saturday? And who's ready to watch some wrestling? Watch some Saturday night's main event and Clash of Champions. Should be fun. Okay, I believe I am live now. How's everybody doing? Y'all having a good set? Let's kill the feedback. There we go. Okay. All right, that music you hear in the background, that is the Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes theme. I was actually watching some of the old Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes movies earlier today. I love those movies. I think they're great. And I'm a big Sherlock Holmes buff, so one of my more favorite adaptations of Holmes are the Basil Rathbone movies. At the very least, they were my exposure to Sherlock Holmes. I've read all the original Conan Doyle stories, but those movies were my initial exposure to it. But yeah, I was just watching those before getting ready here. Now, before I get into Saturday night's main event and Clash of Champions, I started a little early just so I could do this. A couple of things I want to get out of the way. Number one, the Ring of Honor video that I said I was going to do, the top 10 Ring of Honor matches. Some scheduling conflicts got in the way, and I wasn't able to post it as soon as I wanted. But that one it's still definitely going up. I'm not sure when. At the latest, it'll be up by Wednesday or Thursday of next week. Hopefully, I can get it up earlier than that, but at the latest, it should be up by then. And one cool thing I wanted to talk about was another thing to look forward to WrestleMania weekend. Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground will be co-promoting a show at WrestleCon during WrestleMania weekend. They'll be streaming the show on the Impact Wrestling Twitch app or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I want to watch that. I want to watch Lucha Underground and Impact Wrestling commingle. Granted, they share a lot of the same talents anyway, but it'll be fun. That's like a fun thing to have. As I've said before, it sounds neat, and I like things that are neat. So it should be fun for me. Johnny Mundo versus Johnny Impact. Yes, I do want Johnny Mundo versus Johnny Impact. It'll be terrific. But that's just something, you look at all the shows I'm going to be watching WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania itself, which is going to be ungodly long like it always is. NXT TakeOver, which is going to be great. Ring of Honor, their show with Cody and Omega in the main event. And now I've got this show to look forward to. It's like, man, I'm going to be watching all the wrestling that weekend. It'll be terrific. And so, yeah, be on the lookout for that. I think that's a cool thing to have, and I think it's neat. It's the first thing that Impact Wrestling has advertised in a long time where I'm like, oh, hey, I kind of want to watch that. And I'm not expecting like a stellar, all-time great show or anything, but it should be fun, and I like fun. So, and as I said before, Scott Steiner is being advertised for the show. If they can give me Scott Steiner versus Mil Muertes in any capacity, I would be happy. The match doesn't even have to be that good. All I want is Scott Steiner to hit on Katrina and then call Mil Muertes a dead motherfucker and then just watch Mil Muertes react to that. That's all I need. That's all I need the match to be. I just need to be Scott Steiner being Scott Steiner to Mil Muertes. That's all I need. And I think it'd be fine. Now, one other thing I wanted to do before we get started on the streaming, top 10 matches for the month of February. This is my first video of March, so I might as well knock this out of the way as well. I'll go through this pretty quick. There weren't a lot of matches in February that I loved. There were a lot of like good, entertaining matches, but not a lot where I was like, yeah, that's awesome. But I did have a few matches to work with. Number 10, Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong for the WWE UK title from the February 14th from the Valentine's Day episode of NXT. Really good match, solid stuff. Pete Dunne continues to impress. Number 9, Taiji Ishimori versus El Hijo de Fantasma for the X Division title from Impact, the February 15th episode. Look, I don't praise Impact Wrestling a lot these days. They had a match that entertained me, and for that, I'll give them, I'll throw them some praise there. It was a good, solid match, and went longer than I expected and was just entertaining action, which at this point, I'll take what I can get from them. Number 8, The Hung Bucks versus SoCal Uncensored for the ROH six-man tag team titles from, I saw the episode of Ring of Honor on February 16th. Very entertaining match. It was the main event of that show, and they're going to be having a rematch at the 16th anniversary of Las Vegas Street Fight, so should be fun. And next from there, number 7, also from Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal versus Will Ospreay from the, I saw the episode on February 3rd. Very good match. Will Ospreay just continues to get better and better, and Jay Lethal's been a very solid, reliable hand for Ring of Honor for a long time now. So these two meshed together very well, and I thought had a great match. Number 6, The Undisputed Era versus Sanity from the February 7th episode of NXT. Well-built main event. Very good stuff. Really enjoyed it. Just a really entertaining match that had some payoff to it because they've been building it up for so long. Number 5, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks versus Bayley versus Mickie James versus Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose for the WWE Raw Women's title in the Elimination Chamber match from Elimination Chamber. I like this more than the men's match, to be honest. Of course, the men's match was hampered by the fact that we all knew the outcome, but really good stuff. I thought it was a great match for Bliss. I feel like the way she won, like being sneaky and devious, is the way that Alexa Bliss should be winning. And just overall, very entertaining match. I enjoyed it. Number 4, Kazuchika Okada versus Sanada for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. This is a match that didn't have a whole lot of drama going into it because we all knew it's like there's no way Sanada's beating Okada. There's just no way. Very similar to the match he had with Evil last year. But by the end of it, I was kind of on the edge of my seat. It was like, oh my God, Sanada could win this. And it got me thinking, man, when Okada eventually loses the title, the pop that's going to get is going to be insane. But yeah, really entertaining match and somehow got me on the edge of my seat at the end. So good on them for that. Really good stuff. Number 3, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus John Cena versus Elias versus Finn Balor versus The Miz versus Braun Strowman in the Gauntlet match from the February 19th episode of Raw. That near 2-hour match that got a lot of praise. Had there been a point to this match beyond just delivering great action, I probably would have ranked it higher. Because that's really the one thing that was missing. It was like, okay, you shocked me by having Reigns and Cena eliminated first. Seth had a really strong performance. Braun won in the end. Everybody looked good in some way, shape, or form. So it was just a really solidly put together match. And it was like, man, it's a shame that there wasn't a prize or something at stake. But it is what it is. But I thought the match itself was really entertaining regardless. Number 2, Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano in a title versus career match from the February 21st episode of NXT. Very strong main event. Further sets up Ciampa versus Gargano at the TakeOver special, WrestleMania weekend. I know it's happening. Johnny Gargano lost. It looks like, he's gone from NXT, but we're going to get to Ciampa versus Gargano. I know that that's coming. It's going to be terrific. It's going to be great, and I'm looking forward. And this was just a roadblock to get to that match, and I really enjoyed it for that. And number 1 this month is going to go to Will Ospreay versus Hiromu Takahashi for the IWGP Junior title from New Japan New Beginning in Osaka. Excellent match. I keep putting over Ospreay, but that dude just keeps getting better and better, and I think Hiromu Takahashi is getting more and more attention for how good he is. And they went out there and had a really great cruiserweight style match, and you can't ask for any more than that. It was definitely the match I enjoyed the most this month. Brand of the month is going to go to NXT, which this might be a first. I think this is the first time I've given it to NXT without there being a takeover special that month. But I think week to week their shows have been really good this month, so I wanted to give them the nod. So I believe that is all the preliminary stuff. Yes, good morning, everyone, indeed. Excuse me. All right, so if you're just joining me, just finished up listing the top 10 matches for the month of February. We're done with that, so I think we can just go ahead and get started with the streams. Give me 1 second while I set up. Okay, we all good? I think we're good. Let me just that. Okay, we should be okay. Did I remember to turn off? I actually did not. I forgot to turn her off. Let's see. Alexa, what happens if I unplug you?
You can unplug me, but I need to be connected to a power supply in order to work.
That is fascinating. Interesting. Off you go, bitch. Okay. All right, so no interruptions from Alexa should be happening during this stream. Should be good to go. So let's turn off Sherlock Holmes. And let's get to the fun. I mean, Sherlock Holmes is fun for me, but that's not what you all are here for. Okay. Got this thing. Okay, I'm going to let you guys decide. Which should we watch first? Clash of Champions or Saturday night's main event? Clash of Champions? Okay. First response I got was Clash of Champions, so we're going to start with that. Now, I talked a lot about Saturday night's main event last week and what that show meant to me. Clash of Champions filled a similar void or filled a similar need, although Clash of Champions was more wrestling-based and less the entertainment side of things. But were very solid shows, especially those early ones, and there was a lot of, like, the Clash of Champions is one of those things where back in the day when, like, Crockett and WWF would kind of piss in each other's pool, and there was a lot of that going on back in the day where, Survivor Series 87 started because of a conflict with Starrcade, and the first Clash of Champions happened the same night as WrestleMania 4. So there was a lot of, and actually I believe there was a Clash of Champions the same night as WrestleMania 5 as well. So there was a lot of, like, trying to, like, knock each other off their pedestal type of thing going on. But that just makes it more fun. But I don't like to focus on that stuff as much because I like to talk about the shows themselves and what they did well. And the very first Clash of Champions gave us the Nature Boy Ric Flair versus Sting in the 45-minute draw, the match that put Sting on the map. And if you're a Ric Flair fan, which I know a lot of fans are, the Clash of Champions is like a goldmine for great Ric Flair material. I would argue, like, you got this match with Sting, you got the 2 out of 3 falls match with Ricky Steamboat, the match with Terry Funk. I mean, you got, like, those 3 matches right there, I think, are in Flair's top 10, for me personally anyway. But without further ado, let's get started. Okay. The network description. Relive the very first Clash of Champions. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, defends the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Sting. This is going to be fun. All right. Watch. There we go.
Get your win on with the Cricket Unlimited plan. Get 4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month. Plus, switch now and get up to 4 free LG Fortune phones. All on the network.
The weather last night was terrible. We got huge windstorms. Not much in the way of, like, snow or sleet or anything, but the wind was just awful. It was like it almost sounded like the water at the beach almost. The wind was so strong. So it's like I didn't want to go outside. Ooh, this is TV 14, guys. Put the women and children to bed. We're watching some hardcore shit.
Sting finally ready to knock Ric Flair off his throne and become the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Not till 1990.
Question: with Dusty Rhodes at their side, will the Road Warriors take revenge on the men who brutalized them, Ivan Koloff and the Powers of Pain? Question: are wrestling's new breed of young gladiators equipped with what it takes to be victorious on a day when anything goes?
I feel like this is the intro to a news show.
And the time has finally come to find out the answers. Now, Superstation TBS presents Clash of the Champion.
Oh, there's the big gold belt. I don't know if I've ever been asked this before, but the big gold belt is up there as one of my personal favorite belt designs. It's either that or the Winged Eagle belt from the WWF. Those are my two favorites. And those, you know, maybe it's because they're the two I grew up with. I don't know, but yeah. Oh my God, that mustache on Schiavone. My friends and I joke, we call Tony, we call him Schiavone because, you know, bad phonetics. Bad phonetics, it's always funny. It's everyone's favorite belt, but there's a reason for that. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's a damn nice belt. I mean, what else can you say? The only other belt I would throw up there with the big gold belt and the Winged Eagle belt is the $1 Million Championship, which technically isn't a sanctioned title, but whatever. It's one of my favorites.
Thank you very much, Bob Cotton and Tony Schiavone, ladies and gentlemen.
Good old JR Jim Ross. There he is. He looks like a ventriloquist dummy here. Where's the cowboy hat? It's funny, like a cowboy hat makes him look less like a ventriloquist dummy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event, a one-fall match for the NWA World's TV title. For this contest, just like in amateur rules, a one count will count for a pinfall.
Ooh!
There will be 3 5-minute periods with a 30-second rest period between the 5-minute periods.
The announcer sounds confused. Now I know where Impact got the idea for their grand championship.
Weighing in at 236 pounds, accompanied by Miss Precious, gorgeous Jimmy Garvin.
Okay, Miss Precious is bent over in front of him, like taking his pants off. That looks really bad on TV. Hi, Kevin. Kevin Sullivan. That is who that is, right? This music is so happy. Such happy music.
Right now, the NWA World's Television Champion from Syracuse, New York, weighing in at 235 pounds, accompanied by Games Master
Mike Rotunda. Soon to be Taxman Mike Rotunda.
Referee for this event, Teddy Long.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with this television championship here live on the Superstation right after this very brief timeout.
Okay. Bray Wyatt Sr., yes, indeed. Bray Wyatt Sr. Here we go.
Really a different type match in many ways here in this first event. It certainly is, Tony. This match will be competed in 3 5-minute rounds. And one other very startling stipulation is the fact that it only takes a 1 count, as it does in amateur wrestling, to secure pinfall. So that's what we're looking at here. The television championship.
So this match should be over super quick, right? Because there are 2 counts all the time. in wrestling. Look at that.
As you see the fans here at the Greensboro Coliseum. Now going to Gargano quickly, getting his temper up, taking on the referee, pushing him back to the other corner, and Michael Cole, I think, complaining about pulling down the trunks.
Well, we certainly did not see that from our vantage point. Perhaps a little psychological warfare being initiated here at the outset. Boy, some very enthusiastic.
Nice arm drag. See, Mike Rotunda, and I mentioned this last week, he was a good wrestler, but fans don't really remember it. They just remember him for the IRS gimmick, which was very limiting in what he could do. But he could get down on the mat and wrestle.
Senior Memorial Cup Saturday night, April 23rd.
Let's been locked up one more time. Good. Arm drag, takedown. Two hip toss. Going to shoot McGuire now. Well, scoop slam. Hard slam. He goes right.
Oh, very, very smart. He got, okay, Rotunda got slammed on the mat, and he immediately rolled out of the ring because, you know, 1 count, you're dead, so. What?
So much riding on this match, but not only that, you think about the direction that Kevin Sullivan has taken this man right here in the Varsity Club, really away from MVP.
I don't know, like Kevin Sullivan being associated with the Varsity Club just doesn't look right. I know, because I think of Kevin as like the demonic guy.
It's really, I wouldn't think it's to their advantage.
Rotunda just pulled the hair there, which obviously does not happen in amateur wrestling.
Thank you, JR.
Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen an amateur wrestler with a hairstyle quite like gorgeous Jimmy Garvin's, as a matter of fact.
Fair point.
Side headlock from Rotunda, the champion. He goes right to the face that time with the right hand. Getting Long, trying to get a good look at it. Could not. Up against the ropes.
Is Teddy Long the referee? It doesn't look like Teddy. Is it? Is it? Yeah, I think that might be Teddy, yeah.
So in the first 5-minute period, 2 minutes remain. 3 rounds.
Collar and elbow tie-up by gorgeous Jimmy Garvin into the side headlock.
Yeah, this is my problem with like rounds and those type of matches like the ones that TNA tried to do. It's just it disrupts the flow of the story the two guys are trying to tell, and it just doesn't make for the best match. I mean, I get what they're going for, like real legitimate sport type of stuff, but you know, it's just for work, it just doesn't work as well. Holla holla, yeah, holla holla indeed. Did you not like other limiters like when ROH had the Pure title? Actually, I'm going to talk about the Pure title in my Ring of Honor video, so be on the lookout for that. I'll save my comments for the Pure title for that video. Doesn't work in American wrestling. Yeah, it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't click. That woman in the crowd looked like Debbie Reynolds. Maybe I'm just crazy. Boom. See, right now they're just trying to kill time until the end of the round.
Round number 1 on a 30-second rest period.
That's the end of the first period.
I mean, the crowd's into it. I'll give them that. Like, it's not like they've lost the crowd or anything, but it's just, I just don't like the flow of these type of matches. Oh, cheap shot. Got a cheap shot in between the rounds.
Physically involved again, as we just saw Mike Rotunda. Referee Teddy Long is going to stand his ground here and make sure their Rotunda stays in his corner and not be preoccupied with Kevin Sullivan, which is very easy to do. Here we go. We're getting ready to start period number 2. And we're underway in the second period. And quickly, it's Rotunda with the aggressiveness. He goes to the other corner with British Jimmy Garvin.
Shouldn't they have said he won the round?
And now, they'll pick up Flair.
I don't know. I feel like they should have told us who won the round. Or maybe they did and I just missed it. I don't know. Am I going to be watching UFC tonight? No, I'm actually heading up to Frederick to eat sushi and watch The Last Jedi again. One of my friends has never seen it, so we're going to see The Last Jedi at one of the cheap theaters. Backdrop. Oh, Precious. Oh. Beat up the corner man. That's always. Oh, match is over. The distraction of the managers led to Garvin's downfall. Brainbuster suplex. Hey, remember when the Brainbuster suplex was really rare back in the... Oh, there's the Varsity Club. And Precious has got a 2x4. Okay, this is nuts. And now she's strangling Kevin Sullivan with a coat hanger. Oh my God. Okay, I take back my earlier criticisms. This got awesome. Like, this saved itself. I don't think the Giants are going to draft a quarterback in the first round. I don't think that this is a strong quarterback class. I think they might go for that really hyped up running back. But I don't see them going for a quarterback in the first round just because there aren't a lot of great options out there. 2x4. Is it wrapped in barbed wire? It didn't look like it. I don't think so, no. Have you thought about doing a stream during a Giants game? I don't know if you want to see that because I'm just going to get angry and pissed off and it'll be bad for everybody. It's one of those things that'll go viral. It's like, hey, look at the angry Giants guy yelling and screaming at everything. Okay, Mike Rotunda, still the TV champion. Wasn't a fan of the rule structure there, but they got around it okay to where it wasn't a disaster of a match. Hashtag Angry Giants guy. Yeah, make it a gimmick. Why not?
Welcome back, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. Steve,
Dr. Death.
tremendously successful tour in Japan, but I know you had to have heard about Dusty Rhodes.
Angry Giants guy. Yeah, you know what? I didn't think of it. Maybe that should have been my Twitter handle.
I've been away for a while to hear a little things going on. It's like a war. Go on with your bad self, Dusty Rhodes. I don't blame you. Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, good friends of mine. Let me tell you something, Dusty. Whatever you did and how you did it was so fine to me. And another thing, today we had the big match, Ric Flair and Sting. My predictions right now, I hope Sting wins the match. But it doesn't matter because I put my name on the dotted line for the challenger of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Look, electricity's in the air, excitement's in the air, as you can see in Greensboro. Let me tell you, Dr. Death's back. And I'm going to be like a bullet. And there ain't a Superman in the NWA who's going to stop me. I'm coming hard. I'm feeling good. And I'm as clean as I look. Because I've been in that weight room, pumping that iron, running, doing what it takes to be a champion. As you know, Bob, I am a true champion. And another thing, one more thing. Ric Flair, you've been walking down that gold carpet.
Dr. Death is kind of stumbling through this promo a little bit.
And he's knocking on the door. Let me tell you, everybody in the world is watching today.
He's not even looking at the camera.
My name on that dotted line. Come on, take it in. All right, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and fans will have our match for the United States Tag Team Championship. That'll be coming up next.
Oh, is this back when they had like 14 tag titles? Okay, the Midnight Express versus the Fantastics. Okay. Face up? What does that mean? Okay. And 10 years later, he gets knocked out by Bart Gunn. Absolutely. Yep. Hello there, Elijah. How you doing today?
Ladies and gentlemen, here they are. Every mother's nightmare and every schoolgirl's dream. Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan, the Midnight Express.
Jim Cornette. Motherfucker, exposed to business. Actually, you know what? The best Jim Cornette impression ever is Bruce Pritchard, just because for some reason he makes him sound like Mickey Mouse. Goddamn! Son of a bitch! It's in-ring psychology, motherfucker! I'll kill you! Goddamn! I don't know why he goes that high with it, but it's so funny. Bruce Pritchard's podcast is great, by the way, for if you're one of the few wrestling fans who hasn't heard it. It's really good. Well, you know. Rumor and innuendo. Yeah, there were a lot of different tag titles around back in the day. And what the hell are the Fantastics wearing? That is not flattering at all. Here we go. Referee's lost control of this one. Oh my God, they haven't even gotten in the ring yet. They're just brawling all around. Off the top. Okay. We got chairs. Damn. It does. Do we want to throw ladders in there too, just to complete the package? Okay, I feel like both teams should have been disqualified by now. The referee has no control over this at all. Now Cornette's got a chair. He just threw it. Like, okay. Goddamn! Gotta throw a chair. Gotta make sure the Midnight Express wins. Goddamn! Motherfucker! I'll kill you. Oh, now it's like I went to a fight and a tag match finally broke out. I really feel like both teams should have been disqualified by now. This is insane. The referee's all like, oh, come on, guys. Come on, listen to me and my mustache. Guys, get in the corner. Come on. I'm totally serious. Double cheese. Yeah.
United States Tag Team Championship on the line here. And Cornette is still moving furniture.
Cornette is still moving furniture. I'm picturing Cornette in his own home, like moving furniture. Goddamn, that couch belongs over there, motherfucker! It's in the wrong spot! Oh, high-low!
Cien, a great offensive move was executed perfectly by the Midnight Express. And this great crowd here at the Red Hot Greensboro Coliseum, they're solidly behind the Fantastics. Even though Jim Cornette had a small faction of fans here in the front row.
A super kick.
Lovely Tommy Ryder with that karate kick and that's a tag. And Bill Bobby now coming in. So right now, things are underway in the Midnight Express. And it took everything that they had.
I mean, I haven't talked about them much, but the Midnight Express, they really were one of the best tag teams of their era. They were outstanding. And Cornette, you know, for all the jokes I make at his expense, was one of the best managers in the history of the business. So.
A couple of great standby matches. Shane Douglas, Savage, and Larry Zbyszko, and Ricky Santana will take on.
What's better, a brawl breaking down into a tag match or a steel cage match with tag rules? I'm not sure. I guess I'm okay with like a steel cage match having tag rules as long as they're consistent with it. But I would prefer, like, you know, a steel cage match. I feel like, dude, just let him go. But I don't mind that much. He just tried to do a JYD headbutt. Beautiful Bobby. God dang it, Bobby. Top rope elbow. Yeah, but it's not the Savage elbow drop, so he won't get the pin with it. And gut wrench suplex. This is some good old-fashioned, like, Southern wrestling tag team style. I like it. I like it. Oh, ooh, ooh. Break the eyes. Oh my God, that was like the demolition finisher. The Revival would have worked well there. Absolutely. I think the Revival are terrific. They were one of the best tag teams to come around in the last, like, decade or so. I think they're terrific. Sunset flip. No referee. Because all referees are stupid. See, now if this were a WWF show, you'd have Gorilla Monsoon going on and on. It's like, I feel like there should be 2 referees in a tag match. And then no one ever listens to him. And then when he becomes president in 1995, he doesn't institute a second referee in tag matches, even though it's the thing he'd been begging for years. Would the Revival have been Horsemen? I don't know, only because, like, the Horsemen was already, like, pretty well set in stone, but they would have fit in the group at least. I mean, they wouldn't have been out of place with in the 4 Horsemen, I don't think. Goddamn, my team's winning! Ha! Goddamn! Fuck you all! I'll kill you! Ouch. And not a set-up table, just one that's laid down on the ground. Oh!
is a little man out of the ring in this particular case. Once again, his partner going to help him. You can't blame.
Ric Flair was recently asked who the modern day horsemen are. Who are yours? God, I don't know. Like, that's a tough one. What did Flair say? Just out of curiosity. I guess like Bobby Roode, the Revival, and who would be the Flair? Because Roode would be like the Anderson, and Revival would be kind of like the tag team that would round it out. Like, I don't know who the Flair would be. I'm having a hard time picking that. Oh. Rollins and Orton were his first two picks. Okay. Yeah, I guess Orton. He was in Evolution, which is basically, you know, mid-2000s Four Horsemen. But I guess Rollins would kind of fit into that as well. Austin Aries? Yeah, maybe. Austin Aries might be a good fit for that. Get the tag! He did not. The ref didn't see it. Nope. Nope. Oh, and they just threw the referee aside. Okay. Oh, Cornette missed with the racket and his own man. I think the Fantastics are DQ'd for throwing the ref. That shouldn't stand. Okay, the Fantastics just pinned the Midnight Express, but they pushed the referee down. So to me, it's like, you should be just DQ'd. And I think that, yep. That exact debate is going on right now. Oh, no, Cornette just hit the ref with a racket. I know we got, what is that, a strap? Yep. I'm gonna whip him, that motherfucker. Fuck you, you cheater. I'll kill you. Cornette's just whipping the holy hell out of him. Oh my God! There's no reason for that. And he's still hitting the referee with the tennis racket. Jesus. Yeah.
That's a disqualification in anybody's book. The winners of the match by disqualification, the Midnight Express.
Well, that match was wild. That was, I mean, it was fun. It was pure chaos, though. It's fun to watch. NWA main event. Watch it Sundays at 5:35 p.m. Eastern. Only on the TBS Superstation. Greensboro Coliseum. Wild and Hectic doesn't begin to cover it. That thing was nuts.
And you can see the barbed wire now being erected around the ring in the background. That's for our Texas barbed wire match.
Texas barbed wire match?
Talking about the big crowd, a number of celebrities also here. A lot of us remember the old Leave It to Beaver television program. Well, the new Leave It to Beaver stars Eddie Haskell.
There was a new Leave It to Beaver? Of all the things to revive.
I'm Ken Osborne of the new Leave It to Beaver, and I'm inside the Greensboro Coliseum awaiting a man who I admire a great deal and who stands to inherit a great deal of money. Mr. James Cornette.
Man, how you doing?
All
Good to
right.
see you gonna stick around, huh?
Yeah, hey, listen, that's a fine-looking tennis racket you have
Well,
there.
thank you.
Hey, you know, I fancy myself as quite a tennis player.
Well, Letterman at Mayfield, you should be.
Hey, your mom has tennis courts up at her mansion, right? Why don't I come up with you and we'll play a round of tennis?
Well, I don't. She's got time to put the ashtrays up, but promise you'll stay away from the silverware.
James, you wound me. You're looking.
Yeah, the 5:35 start time. There was like TBS always had like weird start times, and I think the logic behind it, they would start 5 minutes after everybody else, so they would catch like the channel surfers. But it looked weird. It always confused me as a kid. Like, why do they start at 6:05 and 7:05? Why not just start at 7 like everybody else does?
She could, but you know something? She always told me when I was growing up, that Haskell boy, he has such fine manners.
I have seen Oliver and Company. I liked it as a kid. Some really good music and animation. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but I mean that one song is catchy as hell. What's it called? Why Should I Worry? That song, Billy Joel. That song's pretty fucking awesome.
Money and championships, which of course I guess championships bring money. The main reason we're here this evening is because
Gary Hart.
Part of this live, a telecast going across
He looks sad.
We also want to take
Like
this
he looks like he got really bad news before going out there and cutting a promo.
and on national television once again to make a legitimate challenge to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. You're gonna have to take Al Perez serious. You're gonna have to put the belt up because, like it or not, he's a legitimate contender, and we're here for you, one Dusty Rhodes. Al, why are we here? Make it very clear.
First of all, I want Dusty Rhodes to know I was watching the monitor when I saw him for that baseball incident.
Al Perez kind of looks like Seth Rollins a little bit. Like a fatter Seth Rollins.
For something as prestigious as that U.S. title, it's going to take a baseball bat to beat me. I want you to know that a gale storm cannot...
Is Vince McMahon ever known by non-wrestling fans? I think so. I think he's a known entity. Like, people know him as the wrestling guy. Have you seen this week's NXT yet? I have not. That's actually tomorrow morning. I'm going to get caught up on my wrestling, watch Ring of Honor and NXT and anything else that I might have missed.
The dirty deeds, brother. Gary Hart and Al Perez. Fans, coming up April 22nd and 23rd. The 22nd in Greenville, South Carolina. And the finals on the 23rd of April in Greensboro, North Carolina, the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup. What an event it's going to be. Right now, let's hear from Francis Crockett and the top 10 seeds now for the Jim Crockett Senior Cup.
Oh, let's see the top 10 seeds. They actually rank contenders and stuff.
And I'm happy to be here on behalf
Crazy.
of the family.
Crazy.
That's the top 10 seeds for the Jim Crockett Memorial Cup. The top 10 seeds are, the 10th team is Ivan Koloff and Dick Murdoch. Number 9 is Sting and Ron Garvin.
That's a weird team.
Number 8, the Varsity Club. Number 7, the Fantastics. Number 6, Barry Windham and Lex Luger. Number 5, the Powers of Pain. Number 4, the Midnight Express. Number 3, the Road Warriors. Number 2, Nikita Koloff and Dusty Rhodes. And number 1, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
The Brain Busters. Oh, wait. It's like that's their WWF gimmick. God, look at all those teams. I love tag teams, don't you? A ranking system with logic, I know, right? It's crazy. Okay, Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors seek revenge in the Texas barbed wire match. Oh my God, Dusty's got Road Warrior face paint. Road Warrior Dusty. Or just Dust. Would it be Road Warrior Dust? God, the stock music that they use is so terrible. WWE, I'm begging you, just pay for the rights to use the original music. God's sake. Terrible. They're really plugging the hell out of NWA main event. Chicago Street. Okay, is it a street fight or is it a Texas barbed wire match? Make up your mind. Have one name and stick to it. Well, it's one of those things, like not paying for the theme music. It's one of those things. When I saw an episode of Bar Rescue and I heard John Taffer use this, it's something that's dime smart, dollar dumb. It's dime smart because you're saving money by not spending money on the music, but it's dollar dumb because there are people that might listen to, you know, the shitty music that they plug in over the original theme songs and just go, well, fuck it. You know, and it's like, it's not how I remember it, so I'm not going to watch it, you know, and I don't know. Like, to me, they'd be better served to optimizing the product rather than shortchanging it. That barbed wire looks really shitty. Like, that looks like not barbed wire. Like, it looks like normal wire. Like the same wire I used to hang up my parents' Christmas presents in the front yard. Yeah, this looks shitty. This doesn't quite have the ominous, like, violent look I think they're going for. Vince wanted to fund XFL 2.0. Yeah, well, I guess he did.
You're exactly right, and this match has no sanction. It has no rules. One fall to the finish. They have put careers and everything on the line here. This is not a match that you want to sign. The career almost ended for the big man, Warlord Animal. And Warlord is going after that eye.
It's so weird to see Warlord and Barbarian outside of the WWF because those are guys that I just thought of as like pure WWF guys. It's like, oh my God, they did have careers before going up to New York. And it's even weirder because, you know, for all the knocks that Demolition was a Road Warrior ripoff, the Powers of Pain are more so. And it's weird seeing them together with the Road Warriors in the same match because they all look the same. I was always a big Demolition fan. Yeah, I kind of hate how they've been relegated to just a footnote because they were Road Warrior ripoffs. Yes, agreed. Powers of Pain are the true ripoffs. I agree.
The referee, as you notice, not inside. Nothing he can do except declare a winner. That's all.
Now, Animal's got like a hockey mask on or something. He's headbutting people with it.
It's going to be the last man standing. Left hand by Rollins. Oh, as you see,
Woo.
Rollins.
Woo! Dusty elbow. The biggest high spot of the match so far. I know, right? Like, Vince is like, Warlord and Barbarian never worked anywhere else before coming to me. Jason Voorhees, where? Yeah, I know. Was the show on Friday the 13th or what?
Right now, we haven't been long into this, but all 6 men are exhausted already.
Jason's a wrestler now. Yeah, of course. When creator wrestler goes horribly wrong. Demolition is more an equivalent than a ripoff. I agree. To me, Demolition were their own thing. Well, that was mercifully short. I'll give him that. That was ill-conceived. Is the best way I can sum that match up. It's okay, now that I'm seeing a close-up of the barbed wire, it looks a little better, but it's still like
still heavily taped right around the base of the orbital rim. And never going with it. Try to crack that ball one more time.
Of course they are. Yeah, Demolition is better than most tag teams today. They were great. Yeah, that was they kept it short. I'll give them that, but that was not good. That was just kind of sloppily thrown together and executed. It's weird to see a barbed wire match in 1988, though. That's like, man.
That foot was right on target. Now, Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors have won the match already, but here's where they tried to end the man's career. The match had ended. The Road Warriors and Rhodes had won it, but they tried to re-enter the eye. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners, Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors, and we'll be back with a special interview with Nikita Koloff right after this.
Yay, Nikita Koloff promo. Can't wait to see that. I don't mean to, Josh, I don't have anything against Nikita Koloff, but promos weren't always my favorite thing from him.
And we are live from Greensboro, Tony Trani, Jim Boston, of course.
Do you think WrestleMania 4 gets too much hate? I mean, parts of it are sloppily executed. It is like the tournament was kind of a mess, but the ending kind of made it worth it. It's like, all right, Savage won the title, and that was all awesome. So I kind of like it. I understand why people don't like it, but I kind of give it a pass just because the ending was so good. The Dream Warriors, yes. Let me see if I can. Wait a minute. Now that you've mentioned it, great pull. Let's see if I can find the song.
The NWA World Heavyweight Championship and the NWA World Tag Team Championship still to come here in the Clash of Champions. But right now, a new look, Nikita Koloff has returned. He's standing by with our colleague, Bob Kyle.
Welcome back after an extended absence to Nikita. A different look, Nikita Koloff.
Nikita Koloff, you say I am different. There is nobody like Nikita Koloff. I am no breed Russian, you see. In the Soviet Union.
Did you know the original plans for Mania 4 were to give DiBiase the belt? Yes, I did know that. I did know that. Here we go.
Just take it easy, boy. It's not true, you see. I have had much trouble. I've talked to many young people in the past 2 months, and you know what I talk about.
Actually, let me get my phone real quick.
What is it?
Get high on sports, not drugs.
You see, I talk to young people about just how important it is to have good health for your life. You see.
I don't understand a word you're saying, Nikita.
Health is very important, and health is very important. Somebody close to me each day I see fight for life. And when Kevin Sullivan come out here, when Dick Murdoch come out here, Mike Rotando come out here and try to take my health from me and my life, then you see I become a fighter. And that's why I stand out here today.
Here we go.
Kevin Sullivan, he say, yeah, but Nikita, you know.
Okay, if Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors called themselves the Dream Warriors, this would have been their theme song, right? Cookie Monster. Yes, he sounds like Cookie Monster. That's a great pull. Yes. Is that Ivan Drago? It's kind of no. Drago didn't talk nearly this much. He's kind of like Psycho Sid with promo. Kind of a little bit. Oh my God, they have let him go on way too long. In Soviet Russia, cookies eat you. Would you put WrestleMania 21 in the top 10 WrestleManias that have taken place so far? It's close. Had the main events been better, meaning Batista, Triple H, and Cena and JBL, had those matches been better, I would be tempted to bump it up to like a top 10. But as is, it's kind of on the fence for me. I think it's a really good one, but shy of like being a truly, truly great one, just because the two main events didn't do well. Yeah. All right. Okay, now we got the World Tag Team Championships. Because before it was the U.S. tag titles, now it's the World Tag titles. Because you need 47 different tag titles, clearly. All Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard versus Barry Windham and Lex Luger.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That HBK angle match. Yes, the HBK angle match is great. I thought Taker Orton was great. I thought the first Money in the Bank was great. I thought the Hulk Hogan Hassan segment was great. But then you have the sumo match, which was really bad. Cena JBL kind of fell flat. And Batista Triple H was not bad, but kind of vanilla. And kind of played against Batista's strengths a little bit.
His team partner from Chicago, Illinois.
WWE clearly watched all these tag titles and wanted to rip that off too. No, I think they just wanted to have a separate title for Raw and separate one for SmackDown, which makes no sense. But oh my God, the stock music! That sounds so terrible. Oh my God! Do you think that WrestleMania 34 will be good or even the best one since 24? I'll be honest, I'm not really feeling a lot of the matches on there. I mean, I don't give a shit about Cena Taker at all, which I know they're going to do. Reigns and Lesnar, I don't give a shit about. The Ronda Rousey, Triple H, and Stephanie mixed tag, I don't care about. Like, so there's a lot of things on there. There's a lot of things just going into it that I don't care about, which is going to be a huge thing for them to overcome. But AJ Nakamura, we're getting that. 30 was really good. I thought 30 was great. I thought 30 was the best WrestleMania since 19, personally. Kill it with fire. Yes, please. Let's kill the stock music with fire. Good Lord. It's terrible. This match should be good, though. Although, I don't know. Like, how green was Lex Luger at this point? Eddie Ray. Eddie Ray was good. I think that's probably the worst match that those two ever had together, though. I remember Ray kept fiddling with his mask, and that was kind of a problem. Well, it made the match a little awkward, but it was a solid match overall.
This match, a lot of controversy has surrounded the NWA World Tag Team Championship.
Taker Brock was horrible, but the historical significance of it kind of makes me forgive it to some degree. Now, did it need to be half an hour long? No. And the match was so bad, but I think the ending and the result was so historic that kind of makes it worth it. God, Luger looks young. You know, people wonder why Luger got pushed, and you look at him. He looks like a star. I give Luger a pass a lot of times. I like Luger. I'm not saying he's one of my favorites, but he had his moments. Listen, torture rack already. Ref didn't see it. I thought they were going to have Ray versus Cena. I'm like, eh. I've seen that match, though. Like, Ray versus Cena. I've seen it, and Ray always loses. So it's like, eh, whatever. Ray has, or Luger has less than 3 years experience at Clash of Champions. Wow, yeah. Yeah. He doesn't look that bad here so far. But, again, he's working with Tully and Arn, which certainly helps. Yeah. You have a cousin that thinks that Luger looks like a young Benoit. I don't see that. I don't know. I don't see that either. Maybe it's the long blonde hair, but. Oh, man. There's the tag. In comes Wyndham. Double noggin knocker. Clothesline. In your top 5 worst WrestleManias, what would be number 6? Oh, God. Well, my top 5 worst are 11, 13, even with the Austin Brett match, like 13 is really, truly awful. 15, 16, and 27. I think that I said those were my top 5 worst. I would probably throw 32 up there. And yeah, 32 was pretty bad. 32, yeah, probably 32. I would probably throw 32 up there. Do you think that do you think you will ever care about WWF, WWE as much as you did when you were a kid? I mean, that's hard to do because when you're a kid, I mean, you just enjoy it. But it would nice to have something more to latch onto than the pig slop they typically serve up. Don't know if you talked about this, but thoughts on Reigns, Richard, Rodriguez stuff with potential links to steroids. It begs the question, why the hell is he in the main event at WrestleMania when this is looming and you could potentially lose him right before WrestleMania? I would have just gone with Strowman, but that's just me. Just think, 9 years from now, Luger would win the WCW World Title. Well, he would win the world title during his feud with Sting, right? Heading into Super Bowl II, right? So even earlier than that. But yeah, he would have that match with Hogan on Nitro, which was one of the best Nitro moments. Arn Anderson, one of my favorite workers. Big DDT by Arn. Arn was one of my favorite workers during the 80s. I thought he was great hand. Spine buster! He won it at Great American Bash 91 after Flair was fired. Yes, that sounds about right. Sounds right. Arn Anderson should have been world champion. I probably would have gone with Arn after Flair left. Arn was still there, right? Someone like him. To me, he's the type of guy, it's like, he wouldn't be my number 1 choice for world champion, but if I was in a pinch, he's the guy I would go with. Yeah, was Great American Bash 91, was that show that was absolutely terrible and the fans were chanting, "We want Flair" the whole time? Rick Rude or Mr. Perfect? I really like both. It's all right. I'd probably, good Lord, this is... Sorry, good stuff going on here. This is a really good match. But Rick Rude or Perfect, if you twisted my arm, I'd probably go with Perfect, but I really like both. Yeah, I don't think AJ and Nakamura are going to close. I think they're going to go with Reigns and Lesnar. Perfectly rashing. Yeah, I've never seen Great American Bash 91, but I've heard the stories. I've heard it's like stupendously terrible. "2004 Great American Bash? What are you talking about? That show with the concrete crit match? Like the worst match of Undertaker's career? When it's not his fault, it was just a really bad, stupid idea. I think if Strowman had debuted in 2002, he would have gotten pushed for a little while, then got treated like a joke and probably given a dance gimmick because they love to give dance gimmicks out to big guys for some reason.
Give me some direction now to Arn Anderson. Look at James. That is a concerned face. As much I've ever seen from James.
Oh, just knee drop the mat. Get the tag to Luger. Oh, they just punched each other. I can't remember the last time I saw that. That's the thing about Roman. If they turned him heel, it would fix a lot of the problems, I think, and he would gain acceptance as a face eventually. But they don't want to do that. Did you ever see that video of Taker rehearsing his speech before the concrete match? Yes, I remember. I think it leaked like the day of the show, didn't it? Oh. There's the tag. Luger's in. Clothesline. This is one of those matches where everybody is over and the fans are reacting to everything, and it's great. God, this is good stuff. Shoulder block. Oh, cheap shot. I think after Roman leaves, the next big star will be John Cena 3.0. Well, I mean, Vince has found his format. It's like just ramming down people's throats until they submit or leave or whatever. If you could describe Lex Luger in a paragraph, what would it be? Charismatic, great. He was charismatic, had a great look. Oh, J.J. Dillon just messed up. 2, 3, Luger and Wyndham win. Luger, again, charismatic, great look, limited worker, but was presentable and had his moments. Those are my feelings on Lex. Yeah, Roman main eventing 4 Manias in a row is ridiculous. And that's the funny thing. He main evented against Brock. He main evented against Taker. He main evented against Triple H. And now he's going to main event against Brock again. And nobody cares. Like, people just don't care. But I heard that story wasn't true. That the Luger got drunk the night before WrestleMania 10 and spoiled the ending or something. I've heard that story wasn't true. They had pretty much decided they were going to go with Brett. Reigns will also win 3 Rumbles. Get over it. Yeah, I'm sure he will. Wyndham and Luger. See, J.J. Dillon, if you hadn't gotten involved, your boys would probably still be tag champs. But, hey. That was a really good match. I enjoyed that. That was fun. Yeah, this has been a really good show. The only, bad thing on the show has been the barbed wire match. And we've still got Flair and Sting, I do believe. Okay, I'll be right back. I just want to get something to drink.
NWA World Tag Team Champions, Barry Windham and Lex Luger. What an electrifying crowd that was here for that event. And the electricity will not stop, ladies and gentlemen. The heavyweight championship of the world will be decided right here in this ring in just a few moments. We have our judges here at ringside right now. Let's begin our festivities and our introductions and go up the top.
Okay, main event time. Sting versus Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight title. One of my personal favorites.
A one-fall match with a 45-minute.
Would you consider listening to Roman Brock with Japanese commentary? I listened to the Women's Royal Rumble and Funaki commentating, and I enjoyed it. Honestly, I would probably prefer listening to a foreign language commentary of any kind over the typical, oh, that's Jason Harvey! Wayne Arnold, look at that.
Member of Board of Directors of the National Wrestling Alliance.
10 years from now, WWE will have Roman main eventing 10 WrestleManias. Probably.
The Pet of the Year, Patty Mullen.
What does that mean, the Pet of the Year? What, like a penthouse pet? Is that what that is?
From the hit television series, Ken Osmond, who portrays Eddie Haskell on the new Leave It to Beaver. Also, we'd like to welcome Jason Hervey, star of the Wonder Years.
Yeah. They sounded so happy for Oscar. I'm sure they were. Oh my god, I can't get over this. This music is killing me. Genericson. You know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna plug my own music in. The man called Sting. He's the man called Sting. He's the man called Sting. He's the man called Sting. I'm not gonna add any more lyrics because all I need is the man called Sting. He's the man called Sting. Is Sting and Flair your favorite Sting match? No, my favorite Sting match would be the Great American Bash match with Vader, 92. Yeah, it's cool when wrestlers like your tweets. I've gotten a few likes from Marty the Moth Martinez. That's pretty cool. He's as big as a bull and quick as a cat. Yeah, he is. He does this and he does that. He does a lot of this and a lot of that. He's the man called Sting. But what about Sting versus Hogan at Starrcade? No, that one's not going to make the cut of my favorite Sting matches. He's as quick as a cat and he hits him with a bat. Not at this point, not till 1997. So, oh, thank God, like Flair has the Space Odyssey 2001 music. It's great theme music. See, now J.J. Dillon just got locked in a shark cage. Season 4 is coming. They've been filming it, so and it's set to debut early, like late spring, early summer.
Ladies and gentlemen, one stipulation of this event. James J. Dillon.
What went wrong? Main event of WrestleMania 22. No, I won't be doing that. I've already beaten that horse into the ground. I mean, you want to talk about beating a dead horse? I've like taken that horse and jackhammered it, and then ground up its bones and made soup with it. The Stinger!
And now, the world's heavyweight champion, 5 times over. Ladies and gentlemen, weighing at 242 pounds, the world's heavyweight champion from Charlotte, North Carolina, the Nature Boy, Flair.
Woo! Woo!
There's a special television time limit of 1 fall or a 45-minute time limit, Tony. We want to add that for the fans. Because of television here, it's normally, of course, a 1-hour time limit. But because of TV, there's our judges that have a great deal resting on.
What the hell is Jason Harvey going to know about judging a wrestling match? That's so weird. Like the Leave It to Beaver guy, what the hell is he going to know about judging a wrestling match?
A lot of people say that's already deserves to be behind bars. Of course, I wouldn't say anything like that. But I know James J. Dillon really has an eye on the NWA Board of Directors meetings going on this week.
I feel like Cena and Triple H should have been higher on your worst WrestleMania matches list just because of your hatred for it. I hate that match a lot. I really do. But the other match, if I recall correctly, the other matches I put higher up on there were really bad too. Woo! Is Jason Harvey hitting on the pet of the year? I think he is. It's a cool kid.
From Ric Flair and his screams. You can tell there are a lot of people right here with their face painted up.
Somewhere back in 1988, a young Charlotte is watching her dad wrestle. How old would Charlotte have been back then? She would have been like really, really young, like almost an infant, right?
And he and Flair, as Tommy on, gets rid of some of the debris. He and Flair have had some of the greatest matches we've ever seen.
They're no strangers to each other. And this one is in front of a nationwide audience. Ric Flair still the apex of his career. The Stinger is rapidly approaching.
It's nice to see Flair look younger. Because towards the end of his career, it was getting like really sad to watch him go out there and work because he looks so old. But it's like, there you go, the George Washington hair, the reasonably good shape, good looking, good looking everything. This is the Ric Flair I remember. Don't get into a test of strength with Sting. That's not going to work well for you. You can't hold him down in a hammerlock. Look at that. Oh, absolutely. Today's wrestling could borrow a few concepts from old school wrestling. Yes, absolutely. Please. Borrow from the old stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Like, who the hell would Charlotte? They'll probably do like a 4 corners match with Charlotte, defending against like 3 other women or something. It'll be a filler match. Because SmackDown don't matter. Don't matter. SmackDown don't matter.
And I don't think that this will be too. Flair is a strong man. But the Stinger, I gotta believe.
Yes, they wrestled. Sting and Flair wrestled on the first Nitro and on the last Nitro. Not their best matches, but certainly like good historical points in time. Yeah, we need characters and personalities. I would borrow concepts, but not the wrestler. Yeah, borrow concepts from the past, please. I just think, like, not long before this, Sting was tagging with the Ultimate Warrior when they were the Blade Runners, and they were apparently green as goose shit. Like, apparently they were terrible. And Sting looks reasonably well polished here.
Taking his time, perhaps.
Yeah, Sting and Flair had a very special chemistry. Now, the Black Scorpion stuff didn't work, but, you can only do so much with what you're given. Yeah, they did wrestle a million times. They actually wrestled again on Clash of Champions. They had their unification match in '94, I believe. It was like right around the time Hogan was coming in. Flash Borden, that's... Sting was once called Flash Borden. I hope that's true because that's hilarious.
A great wrestling exchange by these two phenomenal athletes here, with the Stinger coming out ahead. Sting has the age and perhaps in the youth, perhaps an enthusiasm. Flair, of course, has been the unparalleled heavyweight champion of the world on 5 different occasions.
Flair's already been a 5-time champion by this point. Good Lord.
There we go. Sting walking forward. Once again, Flair trying to work into the corner of the ropes. Whatever he can to get out of it. There he goes. Back to the ropes. And that's how the unplugging will work. Flair wanting Sting to let go. Sting has that right arm wrapped around Flair's left wrist. Flair right to the midsection. What a shot.
Chop. It's nice to see chops where they don't woo after every single chop. By they, I mean the fans. The pace quickens. And Flair goes up. Sting sends him down. Short ride, bad landing. One of my favorite lines I like to steal from Jake Roberts. Oh, look at Sting. Head scissors takedown. Look at that. How about we limit the multi-person matches in WWE? Yes, I would like that as well. He's as quick as a cat, not a flash. Yeah. He'd win about 20 more world titles in 10 years. Don't worry. Yep. Absolutely. That's probably where they got it from. Yeah, the 2 world title concept, they probably got it from WCW, but why on earth would you take that concept from WCW? It's stupid. Every Raw 6-person tag match all the time. Yeah, they do a lot of 6-man tags. Was Sting doing his whoa yet? Sort of. It wasn't fully fleshed out or developed yet, but he was kind of doing it at this point. Yeah, there's some one-on-one matches, man. Mono and mono. That's the way to go. Not that I say multi-man matches should be completely done away with, but it's too much of a crux to kind of like fill out the card and throw guys out there in a match that doesn't mean anything.
Exactly, a lot of momentum, and certainly the Horseman dressing room a few moments ago was not a happy sight. That's right. Flair just left there, so we wonder how much that would affect his concentration in this match.
They took the concept because they wanted to be like, see, we're taking stuff from NWO, WCW. We're not totally ignoring and forgetting them. And meanwhile, they had DDP on their roster. They made a joke out of him. And Booker T, Booker's, he ended up making it in WWE, but he had to eat a lot of shit when he went there, right? Because they fed him to Rock, they fed him to Taker. God, I wonder what Sting would have been like if he went to WWF at this point, because Vince would have been all over this. Like, he would have loved this whole Sting presentation.
Side headlock. Now the Stinger is, again, controlling the pace here. But Flair, the superb veteran. As I said, I really think he's unparalleled. And he's
we are ginormous hypocrites for doing the same things as WCW and making fun of them, like doing 3-hour Monday night shows. Do you think that DDP stalking Undertaker could have worked when he went to WWF? I guess it could have worked if, DDP wasn't made to look like a fool and didn't have to do a job for Undertaker's wife at the time. And they did that SummerSlam cage match where Taker and Kane pretty much squashed him and Canyon. It's like, if they hadn't done all that shit, it might have worked. Sting would have been in Warrior's spot, probably. Yeah, Sting and Hogan tagging together in the late 80s. That would have been awesome. Was Austin a bigger star in WWF or Goldberg in WCW? Austin was the bigger star at that point, but Goldberg was huge, and unfortunately they cut the legs out from under him. WCW did, that is. Don't forget, Booker got fed to Triple H. Oh, yeah, he did get fed to Triple H at WrestleMania. Granted, I don't know if I would have put the belt on Booker at that point because I don't know if he was entirely ready, but it wasn't like they built him up over a long period and he was like, oh, here he comes. He's finally ready to win the title. But he was kind of served up to Triple H on a silver platter.
Sting has not been reluctant to take the first hold. When Flair is down, Sting will go get it. A lot of people have let Flair.
Yeah. If they let Raw and SmackDown do completely different styles of presentation, it would probably work. But they look like the same fucking show. So like the whole idea of there being different brands just seems ridiculous. Austin greater than Goldberg, I would agree with that. What you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you, brother? Woo! Oh God, the promos would have been great. Yeah, the problem with the brand split is that they never really dedicated themselves to it, to really fully executing it. Because both shows look the same and guys were just switching back and forth all the time. So at the end of the day, what's the point? And then when they did the Raw Super Show thing, where it's like, we're going to have SmackDown guys on Raw, it's like, so there's no brand split. So why are you even pretending there is? And another hip toss by Sting. Drop kick by Sting. And face flop. Good times. NXT at least looks like a completely different show. Yes, it does. Yeah, I agree. Put the tag division on one show, put the women on one show, put the cruiserweights on one show, and let the brands have their own identity. Like put the women and the cruiserweights on Raw, put all the tag teams on SmackDown or something like that, just to give both shows their own identity. Bring back the SmackDown fist. Yes, SmackDown needs a good fisting. I agree. History, what about we wouldn't have gotten the Sting Vader matches, which are some of my favorite matches of all time. Headlock takedown by Sting. I'm trying to imagine Ultimate Warrior having this type of match with somebody. in 1988, and I'm laughing at the thought. Like, Warrior actually tried to get on the mat and wrestle with somebody, even if he was in there with somebody like Ric Flair, is like hilarious to me. What's better, Hogan's comeback or Sting's? What do you mean, like the hulking up? Is that what you mean? Because the hulking up is more famous, but I think I don't know. They both work for what they were trying to do. We wouldn't have gotten the White Castle Fear. Yeah, and you know, we would really be missing something if we didn't have the White Castle of Fear. Ultimate Warrior versus Zack Sabre Jr. That would be the most hilarious match of all time. Ultimate Warrior in his prime versus Zack Sabre Jr. That would have been hilarious.
So we're past the 10-minute mark of this 45-minute television time limit for the World Heavyweight title. Sting and Flair, you know, the judges here on ringside, this one's going to be awfully tough to call. There you see them.
Well, they're very intense over here. The judges, no doubt, this match has been very closely contested, and we have had very few near falls.
You know, if I was in that shark cage hung above the ring, I would be super scared that the cable would snap.
The Stinger has the advantage, Tony.
Like, don't hang me over the crowd, please, because that could be really bad. What is that?
Sting has been able to absorb a lot of blows, but he didn't absorb that.
Now he can Flair caught him flush with that blow right to the ribs and that massive chop. Flair's chops are legendary in this sport. Right to the sternum area.
And Sting returns. He returns again. He kicks him.
Brett would have never gotten his moment at WrestleMania 10. Yeah, probably not, because Sting would have been a better long-term investment than Warrior and probably would have hung around. So Brett probably wouldn't have gotten his push. Yeah, Warrior would have been for a rude awakening in NWA, WCW in the late 80s and early 90s. Yeah, I agree. He would not have fit in well at all. Imagine Warrior versus AJ Styles. I think AJ could have worked well with Warrior. Thoughts on Warrior Triple H? If you want to showcase Warrior's strengths, that was the best way to do it. I don't know if Triple H is the guy I would have used, because Triple H was like a mid-carder, like ready to blossom, and I wouldn't have fed him up into the meat grinder like that. But I like doing that type of match to reintroduce Warrior is the best way to do it, because that's Warrior.
And when you do that, you can only learn.
Chris Jericho in the cage was a sexy pinata. Yeah, yes, he was, indeed.
This is really got to be excruciating on his lower back. And let's see.
Bear hug.
Move away from his headlock that he was using as his primary.
Stop texting me.
And go to moves that's going to work on the lower back. And it is amazing that the Scorpion Deathlock also affects the lower back because it's in a Boston Crab-like position.
That's a good point. It really does. So Sting really having the champ. And you're right. You know, you said the momentum has to be with Sting right now, and if they needed to call it.
Oh, Flair's doing the Hulk Hogan 3-arm thing, kind of, sort of.
One thing about the champ, and I've seen it over the years, he can take punishment better than anybody. Look, he's turning himself.
Pancakes are always good for breakfast. Always. New Day has the right idea on that. WWE or WCW in the late 80s. Well, they were NWA at this point. But I think both shows offered something different, and both were good. I like both. NWA typically had the better, longer matches, but WWE had some really great, entertaining stuff. Like the Mega Powers angle was amazing. So both shows offered something different, had great stars and great rosters, and did very well.
Beside each other here at ringside. Sting keeping on the pressure with a bear hug. You don't have to be standing to maintain the pressure of the bear hug. But Flair very, very aware of the positions of his shoulder. Keeping his arms extended so the referee cannot count him out. Great camera shot. Tremendous job by all of your camera people looking right over the shoulder of the judges here at ringside.
Mega Powers versus Roman and Cena. Oh, God, yeah. I'd like to see that. Then just have the Mega Powers squash him.
Couple of heavy-duty offensive maneuvers by Sting, and then that massive press slam.
I'm imagining the Winged Eagle belt on Sting in the New Generation era. That would have been an amazing, amazing Fab Five. Brett, Sting, Shawn, Razor, and Diesel. Yeah, that's a good core of talent right there. Oh, Sting missed in the corner. Flair's got the advantage again. I had a bowl of cereal with peanut brittle like sprinkled into the cereal. I'm trying to like up my protein intake and like bulk up and do that type of stuff. So I'm training for a wrestling career. I'm becoming a worker. So gotta get more protein in my diet. One. Uh-oh. Flair got him at inverted atomic drop. The move that looks a lot like a nut shot. It looks a lot like a low blow. It just does. I know it's aimed at the tailbone, but it looks like other extremities are getting caught in the hit. Pick your poison. Hogan Flair at 18, Cena Orton at WrestleMania 32, or Owens AJ at 34. Well, Cena Orton, no. Absolutely not. I guess Owens versus AJ would be my pick because that's the one I got least sick of. Did you ever think about becoming a wrestler or a football player as a kid? Not really. I was never the greatest athlete. I did play football in high school, but I wasn't that good at it. I just knew it's like I'm not the most athletic guy, so it's like any kind of physical career probably isn't going to be for me. If your wrestling theme isn't sunglasses at night, I would be disappointed. Fair point. I would have loved my theme song to be "Love It Loud" by Kiss, but that one works too. Sunglasses at night. I would also go with "Back in Black" by AC/DC. Oh, look how happy JJ is. Are your sunglasses ever going to be a merch item for you? Probably not. I'm not the type of guy that markets himself. I don't even have a Patreon. Bret Hart's the one that should market sunglasses. That's his deal. Don't want to steal his gimmick. What's the worst finisher ever? Dino Bravo's side suplex in the 80s. It was basically a sidewalk slam, but they called it a side suplex, and it looked like shit. Like, when Kevin Nash does a sidewalk slam, it looks like he's driving you through the mat. When Dino would do it, it would be like he would pick you up and then, like just kind of lightly fall down. And he beat so many people with it. I'm like, that thing looks like garbage. The Cobra is pretty garbage, too, because it looks ridiculous. It got over, but it looked stupid. The overdrive, is that stupid thing with the leg over the guy's head where they try to like spin him around? Because that might be the most botched finisher I've ever seen, and so many guys were trying to use it. Like Carlito, Orton, it was his first finisher. MVP, Elix Skipper, so many guys were trying to use that as the finisher, and they kept botching it. It's like, why do guys keep trying with this move? I don't get it. People's Elbow I give slack to because he would usually hit a spine buster or the rock bottom before hitting it. So it's like, oh, he beat him with the first move, and that's just insult to injury. Samoan Spike, The problem with the Samoan Spike is that they can never get the hit to look that good, except when he would like throw him in the air and hit him with it. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that. Don't use a chair, Flair. It's not fair for Flair to use a chair. But if you want to be fair to Flair, you got to admit how truly fair Flair is. For only a man as fair as Flair. Where's Gorilla? Tell me to shut up and knock it off. Will you stop that?
Jim, you'll agree with me. Action and intensity like this, only in the NWA. This is what being a world heavyweight champion is all about. And this is the kind of action, this kind of intensity, Tony, on the big program debut next week here. NWA main event debuting next Sunday afternoon. Main event title matches. And baby, this is the main event.
Worst autocorrect ever. Yeah.
In comes Sting, and that's the safest place for him to be with Flair. Is inside of the ring, because Flair can just obliterate you outside.
I'll have you thrown out of here, Gorilla. I'm Indiana's favorite Bobby. You couldn't hold Bobby Knight's towel. Who? That might be my favorite Gorilla Heenan bit. Do you watch Grimm's Toy Show? No, I've never. I don't even know what that is. Oh, there's Sting making that comeback. Kick his ass! Boom! Right out of the ring. I hated that rule of you getting disqualified if you knock your opponent out of the ring. Oh! Sting just hit the ring post. That is such a stupid rule. I'm glad they did away with it. Because it would be like wrestlers would forget that that's a rule and they would do it. And they would have to come up with some stupid excuse for why it's not a DQ in that situation. Like, oh, Flair's momentum carried him over. It wasn't deliberate. It's like, dude, just get rid of the rule. It's stupid. I thought Brett's sharpshooter looked better. Yeah, which looked better, the sharpshooter or the Scorpion Death Lock? I thought Brett's sharpshooter looked better. Canadian Destroyer? You mean the move where the guy does a forward flip while Petey is just kind of along for the ride?
The man who is the leader, so to speak, of the Horsemen, Ric Flair. No doubt the Horsemen put their hands together, riding around a little bit before Flair came out here. So maybe it's going to work in Flair's favor. I don't know if he needs any advantages as Eric Rex is, as good as there is in this sport. In my opinion, the best in the sport. He's a champion of the world, but the Stinger is back on his feet, and perhaps the momentum could be changing. But no.
Nice nip up by Sting. God, Sting is just so infectious as a babyface. Like, it's impossible not to like him. Some of that Ricky Steamboat appeal, if you will. Just, it's impossible to root against him. Hip toss. God, Flair's a bump machine in this match. He's just like getting thrown around like a rag doll. Yeah, if you put 80 Sting in jean shorts, he's Cena. That's not fair. I like Sting. I would say no, because Sting was never as forced as Cena was. Sting naturally got over, and they didn't pull the trigger and put the belt on him right away. They waited. Waited until 1990 to do it. Scorpion Deathlock! He's got him over! But Flair got in the ropes. Did Ricky Steamboat ever face Sting? That would be a great babyface match. As far as I know, no. I know they were tag partners a couple of times, but I don't think they ever faced. Sting's heel turn in 1999 was one of the worst. It was one of the worst because clearly Sting wasn't motivated and didn't want to do it. And I think a Sting heel run would be great. It's just that Sting's heart wasn't in it, and if his heart wasn't in it, then it wasn't going to work. Even when Sting was dark, he was lovable. Yeah, Pro Sting was awesome. I love that.
But this would be, without a doubt, the worst day in the history of the Four Horsemen of Wrestling. No doubt. It would be a real black Sunday, so to speak. Sting very methodical here now. He does not want to make any mistakes, and he wants to keep the advantage. But Flair turned the tables. Oh, look at the steer.
Sting no selling the chop.
Maybe the nerve in his have just been beat to death because he has been hammered in the chest. Top of the head.
Another face flop.
Rolls him over.
Oh, he's in the ropes. He's in, yeah.
Put it on top of it. The leg was underneath the rope anyway, so it's not going to break. Yeah, that's exactly right. Flair took the easy but the smart way out.
God, how many hip tosses is Flair? Oh, Sting missed. Oops. Remember when everyone... Wait, I'm sorry. What's going on? Remember when everyone had an animal sidekick? Oh, you mean G.I. Joe? Like, G.I. Joe, everybody had an animal sidekick for some reason. Because, as you know, animal sidekicks are so valuable when you're in the military. That would have made Sting come out with an actual scorpion. Probably. Sting to the top. Cross body. 1, 2, and no. Pick a dream match. Angle versus Shamrock, Joe versus Taker, Kalisto versus Mysterio, and Kane versus Abyss. I would go with Angle versus Shamrock because of their backgrounds. I think that would have been a really cool match to have. Because they're both legit. I mean, they're legit tough guys and very talented at what they were doing before heading to WWE. So I think a match between the two would have been interesting. If Undertaker and Sting had a match at in 97, who would win? Taker, because they would want their creation to go over. Well, it depends. I mean, if it was in WWF, Taker would go over. If it was in WCW, it would be a bit more up in the air because they would want to. But he wouldn't be Undertaker. He'd be like Mean Mark Callis or something like that. So. Damien, best animal sidekick. I agree. Damien was awesome. Until Earthquake killed him. For those of you who've seen that bit. Do you agree that the only way you want to see Rock in WWE nowadays, even if for one-off appearances, is if he went back to his Hollywood heel gimmick? I don't know if you can kind of pull that rabbit out of the hat again. I don't know. Like, that would be a hard one to pull off. I mean, I wouldn't mind if Rock played heel again because I think he'd be great at it, but... Oh, Sting's leg is hurt. And then we got Quake Burgers. Yes, they made Damien into Quake Burgers, which is horrible but hilarious. I mean, that's almost as good as Big Boss Man killing Al Snow's dog Pepper and feeding it to him, which apparently came from Mr. Fuji actually doing that to somebody. I cook your dog. I've heard that Sting and Taker did have a match in NWO WCW in like 1990 before Taker went to WWE. It was non-televised though. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised. Sting probably went over in that case. Damien Sandow was wasted opportunity. Yes, I agree. He got over and they didn't want to do anything with him. He didn't grab the brass ring hard enough. I don't know. Chloe was great. Was that Tori Wilson's dog? Cute little dog. And back suplex. Oh, we're half an hour into this marathon match. Figure 4. He's going for it. Figure 4, it's on. And Sting is right dead in the center. Where's RoboCop? It's like, I don't know. RoboCop wasn't at this show. He's not gonna. RoboCop's not gonna let JJ Dillon out of the cage. Come on. Sando got over on his own. Vincey can't have that now, can he? Yeah. It's like Sando getting over wasn't part of the plan, so fuck him. Which big star in the Attitude Era do you think would be held down in WWE today? I don't know. Like, that's a good question. Probably Foley. They probably wouldn't capitalize on how over Foley got, and they would just make him look worse and worse until people stopped caring. Probably Foley, if I had to guess. Fans like a guy. Vince says, make them like Roman. Yeah. Yeah, it's like he won't push the ones they like, and he'll push the ones they don't like. I don't get it. God, how long has he been in the figure four? This has been a really... Sting's dragging him. He's dragging him across the ring so he can't, like, hold on to the ropes for extra leverage. Look at Sting! Yes! Oh my God, this is so awesome. Turn him over. Turn him over. He got it almost. Not quite there, not quite there. He got it, he got it. This is some good old school shit right here. I love it. Rusev got over now. He's been off TV for weeks. Yeah, I know. And he's still, last time when I checked, he was still a heel, which, yeah, that's going against the grain, isn't it? What's the worst era of WWE? Worst era of WWE? Probably the PG era, for lack of a better term, just because the shows have just gotten continuously worse and they've oversaturated themselves. Happy Rusev Day, everybody. Of course. Every day is Rusev Day. God, both of them are limping. Is he going to suplex Sting outside the ring? You know, it's amazing. I've seen this match before, and now it's like I'm reacting to it like I've seen it the first time. That guest host era, though. Oh, God, yeah, the guest era. The guest host era was awful. Sting suplexes him! Woo! Randy Orton looks so old now. At least Cena still looks good. I thought Cena's starting to look a little older to me, but I don't know. I don't watch SmackDown, so I haven't seen Randy Orton lately. So maybe react to Starrcade '85 in the cartoon era in '95. Yeah, I'd like to go back and watch all the old Starrcades. That'd be nice. Starrcade '85 was a really good one. Abdominal stretch. Sting's got it. Reaction to Starrcade '97, please. I'll give you my reaction. Irritation and annoyance. That would be my reaction to that show. Mandy Rose is the first eliminated from the Women's Rumble and the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Hey, you need your Cleveland Browns. What do I always say? And on Raw, they had Trump come up with the guest host stuff just so people would like him. Yeah, that's funny how that worked out. Flair's going to get slammed off the top for You know, we're probably within the first 100 times that this has happened. It would happen about 5,000 times more. I don't watch it, so I don't know, but which are more known worldwide, WWE superstars or UFC fighters? Worldwide, I don't know. I don't know. UFC seems to be on a downturn. I don't know if the fighters are as well known as they were a few years ago. Like, everybody seems to know Conor McGregor, but other than that, like, the fighters don't seem to be as well known as they were a few years ago. I also don't know what UFC's presence is worldwide. I don't really know. Oh, now Sting's doing the figure 4. Yeah! Oh, my God! He's got the figure 4, the master of the figure 4. Oh, my God! This is amazing! Flair is biting his own hand just to block out the pain in his legs. That's a nice little nuance there. I like that. Sting must have held down the R1 button before doing his finisher to use his move thief ability. Yeah, right? Now, in the N64 era, that joke would have been he must have pressed A and B at the same time instead of tapping the joystick. When it comes to Hell in a Cell spots, why is Mankind going through the cell against Triple H barely talked about in comparison to getting thrown off the cell by Taker? Because the Taker one came first, and the Triple H one, there was clearly like the ring was gimmicked to be like a landing pad when he hit, and it was clear. I mean, granted, I'm glad Foley's okay. I don't want him to kill himself, but that one didn't have the scare factor that the Taker Foley one did. The Triple H one looked more brutal. I'm like, not really. I just felt like it looked like he landed in the pad that they had set up. But it looked good for what it was. It looked like he crashed through the ring, but it was clear that he was protected on the fall, too, which, again, that's a good thing. Who took more cell falls, Shane or Foley? I think Shane is officially... Well, Shane's only had the 2. Shane wants to top that for whatever reason. Foley had... if you count going through the cage, Foley had 3, I believe. Oh, he also got knocked off the side of the cage in a match against Kane on Raw, so 4. Referee just pushed Flair down. Up and over. Flair goes out of the ring. Yeah, the SummerSlam 2000 and Backlash 2001 falls, yeah, those were insane. It's like, Shane, what the hell are you doing, you adrenaline junkie psychopath? Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure those judges were taking score. I'm sure they really were taking score. I'm sure Jason Harvey had a really in-depth analysis of this match and who should win. What's Shane's most scary stunt? I mean, all of them were pretty scary. Like, the fall at SummerSlam 2000 was super scary because that looked high as hell. But, yeah, anytime he gets up and climbs something, I hold my breath. No sunset flip for you, Flair. Fuck you. This match is so good. I feel like a kid again. This is so good. Oh, yeah, the glass spots with Kurt. Yeah, where they kept He kept suplexing him into the glass, and the glass wouldn't break, and he landed on his head. It's like, good shit. That was there, yeah, that was pretty scary, too. I hope Shane doesn't miss one of those falls, but it's like he's taking unnecessary risks whenever he does it. Because it wasn't gimmick glass. It's like, yeah, why would you gimmick the glass? I mean, come on. Sting's in no-sell mode right now. 2. Oh, Flair got his foot on the rope. Who's the most overrated wrestler? Based on what? Like, in-ring ability? Like, however they were, their push? I guess Warrior, like, the push he got. Oh, Stinger splash! Crashed and burned. I think you can make a really great heel out of trying to replicate Taker's streak. Like, have him just go out there and say, I'm going to beat Undertaker's streak, and just have him win like 5 or 6 in a row and just make that like a storyline. I think you can get a great heel out of that. Kelly does suck. I will say that. She does suck. How would you have built Goldberg versus Austin if you could? I would have had Goldberg, like, it would have happened during a WCW invasion. I would have had Goldberg run through a lot of people and have Austin be like the final guy to stand in the way of Goldberg, but also be like the final guy that Goldberg needs to destroy before finally defeating the WWF or something like that. Basically play to both men's strengths. What went wrong idea? Goldberg versus Nash, Starrcade 98. Yeah, that'd be a good one to do. God, Sting and Flair are killing each other right now. I do have an idea for a what went wrong video later this month, but you'll see it when I post it. It should be up by the middle of the month, though. And yes, it's related to WCW, in case anyone's wondering. Sting with a sunset flip. Yeah, get him over. 2 minutes remaining. Flair drops to his knees. Sting's, Flair's got the ropes. Now he goes over. 1, 2. Best WWE pay-per-view in 2000. I thought Fully Reloaded was a great show. Royal Rumble 2000 was a great show. SummerSlam I thought was a very good show. Flair does. Oh, he hit a move off the top rope, crossbody, but Sting flips over. 1, 2. No. God, this is crazy. But yeah, Fully Loaded was great, and I thought Royal Rumble was great. Those would probably be my 2 picks. No, Flair is not busted open in this match. I don't think he is he? No. If he is, it's not much. Number 1 dream match for WrestleMania. My number 1 dream match for Mania would have been, Flair is busted, but it's not like a lot. But my number 1 dream match for Mania would have been Sting Taker, but that ship is long sailed. Come on, Sting! 45 seconds to go. Stinger splash! Flair down again. Scorpion death drop. No, go for the pin. Sting made a mistake. He should have gone for the pin. Because now all Flair has to do is hold on. AJ versus Eddie would have been good. Yeah, AJ versus Eddie would have been a great one. Time limit draw. Holy shit, that match was awesome. My only knock was not so much doing the Scorpion Death Draw or Scorpion Deathlock at the end. Doing a countdown before ringing the time limit draw bell kind of makes Sting look stupid. It's like, why would you hold on to the hold? Just go for a pin. I would be going for pins.
The fans here
At least he didn't put the Scorpion Deathlock in with 90 seconds left. Yeah, right? Oh, they excuse why 45 minutes instead of 60? They explained because of the TV restraints that they had to shorten it to 45. Honestly, I think the Sling Blade is one of the coolest moves in wrestling. I like it. It just looks cool, and it's not used as a finisher or anything. It's not used as anything that fancy. It's used as like basically a glorified clothesline or a momentum shift. But okay, we are getting ready to wrap up the first Clash of Champions. The judges have done their scores.
Referee Tommy Young has secured the decision of the judges. Referee Young, if you will. Judge Patty Mullen has scored the match for the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Do you think that this was a better show than Mania 4? Overall, yes. I would say overall this show was a better show than Mania 4. Yes. Although I think the ending of Mania 4 is better than this one because this one, even though the match is great, you're getting a draw, which builds into future things, but WrestleMania 4, the whole payoff of the Mega Powers coming together and Savage winning the belt is a lot better, a lot more satisfying. So 6 and 1, half a dozen the other, but overall show, I would say this show was better.
Still, NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Yeah, those judges really came through on that one. How many pay-per-views would you have nowadays? I'd have 5 or 6. I would have like 4 or 5 for up to me. Yeah, Flair got his ass kicked like that entire match, and yet somehow Flair won on judge's decision. That's bullshit. Since this is the first Clash of Champions, which is better, this or the first Mania? Well, I mean, that's a little different because the first WrestleMania was meant to be more of an infomercial for the WWE. Like, kind of like, all right, let's just have celebrities. Let's just have a basic MSG card. We'll sell the product and then have things in the future for them to look forward to. This was actually meant to be like an actual, like, big-time show, Clash of Champions. Like, big feuds, big matches.
As we said, friends, this week sometime, the NWA Board of Directors will meet to decide and review what happened just yesterday right here on Super Station TBS.
So it's really hard to compare. I mean, this one would kind of be better by default, but WrestleMania wasn't designed to be like a great wrestling show. It was designed to be like an infomercial for the WWF.
The NWA, we say it so many times, is the major league of professional wrestling. What you saw in the ring proved it time and time again. We saw so many great matches. The Fantastics came that close to winning the United States Tag Team Championship. It won't be the only opportunity they'll have, no doubt about that. We saw Mike Rotunda retain the World Television title. Kevin Sullivan, is he deranged? As a deranged superstar, plus, ladies and gentlemen, that great match up there. And as Tony said, hopefully we'll be able to bring you fans a little bit about the press conference coming next week. Fans, that's all from Greensboro. Thank you for joining us from the NWA Jim Crockett Promotions. We'll see you at the Super Station.
Okay, and that was the first Clash of Champions. That was a hell of a show. That was senior producer Virgil Runnels. I wonder who that is. Who's this Virgil Runnels? That is the executive producer of the first Clash of Champions. So yeah, overall thoughts. I thought the show was great. I thought the only thing on the show I didn't like was the barbed wire match. I thought that was ill-conceived and ill-planned. It just wasn't executed real well. But everything else, I enjoyed the 2 tag matches. I enjoyed the Sting Flair match. That still holds up as one of my all-time favorite Ric Flair matches and one of my favorite Sting matches too. I think it's great. I think it's a stupendous match. So yeah, overall great show. If you haven't seen the first Clash of Champions, I think that's this one. Definitely, I recommend seeing. I think that was a great, very well put together wrestling show. Even the TV title match, even though I didn't like the format of the match, I thought they got around it okay and made an entertaining bout out of it. So yeah, really solid stuff. What is Clash of Champions? The WWE version of WrestleMania, or at least... Wait. Sorry, I'm just getting caught up on comments here. What is Clash of Champions? The WWE version of WrestleMania, or was the Starrcade? I was never a WCW. Clash of Champions was really like the NWA answer to Saturday Night's Main Event is the best way I can sum it up. It didn't happen on Sunday nights. I think most of the shows were on Wednesdays, but it was basically like a big TV special that was like a free pay-per-view. That's basically what Clash of Champions was. It wasn't like the WCW's version of WrestleMania or anything like that. It was just a big television special, basically. All right, so yeah, that was the first episode of Clash of Champions, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a really great show. Now let's follow it up with the second episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, October 1985. Now this show, let's read the network description. Hulk Hogan defends the WWE title against Nikolai Volkov in a flag match. Paul Orndorff battles Roddy Piper and Andre the Giant, and much more. Much more being, I believe this is the show where I can see the screenshot. I believe this was the episode that was Uncle Elmer's wedding, which was a weird thing to focus the show on, but whatever. Let's get this thing kicked off. What was the first Saturday Night's Main Event you remember watching? Oh, I don't know. One of the ones in 1990, I think. Yeah, it would have been one of those. I don't remember like exact details or specifics. Yeah, Starrcade was kind of actually like, if you want to get technical, Starrcade was before WrestleMania. So you could say WrestleMania was WWE's answer to Starrcade. Although I don't think that was even like the idea behind its conception. All right, so if y'all are ready, actually, let me go get something to drink first because I'm getting a little dry. Oh. Okay, Saturday Night's Main Event. I don't believe I mentioned this last week, but in the mid-'80s, like Saturday Night's Main Event on NBC would actually take the place of Saturday Night Live, whenever they did one, which is an interesting thing to have. And, it would have been so funny because back then, Saturday Night Live wasn't very good. But I think the 80s of Saturday Night Live can be summed up by Eddie Murphy was funny and Joe Piscopo was funny. That's about it. But then in the early 90s, wrestling was on the decline, and Saturday Night Live got a much better cast and got much better, which is really like that's the era of SNL that I'm more familiar with. But and then NBC ultimately dropped Saturday Night's Main Event. But that probably would have been a discussion more apropos for like 1991 or 1992. But October 85, Saturday Night's Main Event. Let's get started.
WWE list. Watch anytime.
Did WWE just put me on the list? What's the list? Starrcade was the original Survivor Series. Well, in a way, yeah. Yeah, Volkov versus Hogan. This is a match I've seen quite a bit because it was on a few videotapes and DVDs. So I've seen this match before. Vince stole from Dusty. I'm sure he did. What was your more favorite moment? Stone Cold saves Team WWF and stunning everybody in sight, or The Rock returning and joining Team WWF? I wasn't a huge fan of the invasion angle, but the moment where Austin came out and joined Team WWF was awesome. It's just a shame that he just turned on them like a couple nights later anyway, so it didn't matter. The last one was in May, and now it's October. Wow, these shows were rare. Yeah, these shows didn't happen all the time. They were can't miss. Yeah, fuck the Russians. What?
I don't want you to get me wrong because the host is red hot about this situation. The way that Russian goes all around the country waving that Russian flag in front of all of our young Americans, that just gets me red hot. I got one promise for you. After tonight, after Hulkamania runs wild, there's only going to be one flag waving in this country. That's the red, white, and the blue, just for you.
So that's the international situation, ladies and gentlemen. But right now on the domestic front,
with the last bit of check of the
Hi, Hillbilly Jim.
getting ready for the first network television.
Number one worst Royal Rumble winner for any year. It's like, oh God, any out of the last decade. It was like, it was. I mean, Big John Studd was a weird one. I don't know if I'd call him the worst though. Sheamus was pretty bad. Roman and Batista were flops just because, and Batista the second time, not the first time. Your favorite Saturday night's main event match? I'll say it when we get there. As I'm doing these streaming episodes, well, I'll say it when we get there. I don't want to give it away yet.
Look at this fella. What do you think is going to marry him? I saw him run through here.
The 80s, when anti-American gimmicks weren't seen as racist. He's Russian. He's white. So, you know, nobody cares. Nobody cares. He's a white guy. It's fine. Is the live stream going to stay on the channel? For the time being, yes. That might change, but for right now, probably just going to stick with doing it on this channel. Soviet Union anthem. Yeah, we're going to get that. Probably, if this is a Volkov match. Super 80s intro. Okay.
Everyone, this is Vince McMahon. Welcome you to another Saturday night's main event. We're here in the shadow of New York City in the beautiful Meadowlands Arena. We will see one of the first tag team title defenses of Greg the Hammer Valentine and his tag team partner Brutus Beefcake. Squaring off against
Wow, I was just looking at the camera feed. The light looks really dark here. I'll be right back.
The extraordinary matchup that will pit the skills of Mr. Wonderful. Paul
Okay, that lightens it up a little bit. I don't look like I'm hiding in the shadows or something.
And then from there, the 8th, 9th, and 10th wonders of the world all rolled into one. Andre the Giant in the tag team matchup. Andre teaming up with Tony Atlas, squaring up against perhaps the most awesome tag team force in the world today. That would be King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd. And then
They're not as destructive as the Brothers of Destruction, but, you know. Bundy and Studd, I guess they're okay. The 80s, when the rock music was amazing and when wrestling was insane. I wish I was born earlier. Yeah, the 80s were a great time. And you know, the cool thing about the 80s is that you see all these shows like Stranger Things and It, and Black Mirror had an episode that had a lot of 80s nostalgia, and people seem to love it. Like, even young people are like, oh my God, the 80s were cool. And I'm like, fucking A right, the 80s were cool. Even our bad shit was great. I mean, look at Howard the Duck. That movie's amazing. It's terrible, but it's amazing.
I'm not impressed. I'll tell you, I'm impressed with the wrestling. You don't have to sell me on the wrestling.
How would you have booked Andre versus Big Show if you had them both in their prime? I would have had Andre as the face. I would have kept Andre largely unbeaten. I would have had Big Show go on a tear and like destroy a bunch of people and saying that he's the new giant, and do something where Big Show attacks Andre after a match and beats him down and bloodies him, and then bing, bang, boom, Big Show. You got Big Show versus Andre.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's weird watching Brutus Beefcake when he's not the barber, right? Triple B. I'm surprised that Triple B never stuck. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Or as Zeus would say, Beefcake Barber? Is that what Zeus called him? Beefcake Barber! Hulk Hogan! Nice, very spiffy trench coat there, Nikolai. And why is Classy Freddie Blassie like anti-American? I don't get that. It's like, yeah, Russia! Even though I'm American and make all my money here. It's got a great singing voice, though. I'm not going to fault him. It sounds, the anthem sounds pretty.
All right, Jesse, considering Hulk Hogan's pre-match
Triple B versus Triple H. Yeah, WrestleMania 35. Book it. What's the best commentary team? Jesse and Gorilla, Bobby and Gorilla, or JR and Jerry Lawler? Oh, fuck. They're my three favorites right there. If we're being honest, those are probably my three favorites. If you had to twist my arm, I'd probably go with JR and Jerry Lawler, with Bobby and Gorilla at a close second. But they're all three of them are fantastic. Because Americans are pencil neck geeks. True. True, we are.
Despite your warnings, Nikolai Volkov
He sang that damn anthem. Fuck him.
and carry a Russian flag.
Well, you know, Mean Gene, that singing's too much. But as far as the Russian flag goes, that's absolutely the limit. I can't stand to see our enemy's flag in the ring. That's why I'm carrying the red, white, blue, brother. I'm proud of America. I stand for this country. And I'm going to promise you one thing. When this fight is over tonight, there's only going to be one flag standing. That's the Stars and Stripes forever.
Brother.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it from the World Wrestling Federation's heavyweight champion and Vince McMahon.
Mean Gene, best voice in wrestling. He's up there. I mean, you just hear that voice. It's like, that's a ring announcer. That's the guy that should be in wrestling. He's got the voice for it. I mean, honestly, Mean Gene could be in any sport with a voice like that, doing that type of stuff. But he comes out, Hulk Hogan comes out to Lex Luger's 1993 theme. One of my favorite things about the wrestling bubble is that I will read reviews sometimes where WWE will use Stars and Stripes Forever as like a piece of music, but the review will say WWE used Lex Luger's 1993 theme. And I'm like, it's Stars and Stripes Forever. It's like, why are you calling it Lex Luger's theme when it's Stars and Stripes Forever? Like, come on, guys. Get a little bit of culture outside of wrestling. I mean, come on.
In my opinion, we might see the champion go down right here on Saturday Night Main Event.
In Rocky IV, the Russian anthem was seen as inspiring. In WWE, it's always booed. It's like, well, Rocky IV, the last fight was set in Russia, so that's why. America the Beautiful or the Star Spangled Banner? America the Beautiful. It's classy. It's just great. Except when it's sung poorly by Fergie. that was really bad. I mean, I don't mean to knock her while she's down, but that was pretty bad. What would a dream match, past or present, for the women be, if any? Sherry Martel versus Sasha Banks. I think that would be a cool match to have, just because they've got such great personalities. You just saw Rocky IV for the first time? Come on, that movie's a classic. God, didn't you feel like you could go out and fight a bear and win after watching that movie? Good Lord. Hogan's got the advantage. Volkov is down. Axe Bomber! Oh, wait, we're not in Japan. Elbow drop by Hogan. Yeah, I've seen this match a lot, so I'm fairly familiar with it. Yeah, it's the Hogan match comes first. It's like I talked about last week. They would always front load the Saturday night's main events, and then like the unimportant stuff would get thrown in at the end. So yeah, Hogan's in the very first match. And Volkov gets knocked out of the ring onto the announce table. Oops. Hogan goes into the ring post. Have you seen Creed? Yes, I have seen Creed. I loved it. It was my favorite movie that year. It came out. I love Creed. I just watched it, just rewatched it a couple weeks ago, actually. I loved it. Still good. Michael B. Jordan, man, he's great. Actually, Black Panther, I haven't talked about that. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good. But Michael B. Jordan, man, he killed it. He was the best part of the movie, easily. Love it. He's a great actor. I love him.
And I can tell he's tasting it now. He feels here comes his second champion. Volkov with Hulkster.
Headbutt by Volkov. Again, Volkov is one of those guys. I always kind of liked him. He's just always had like this strongman appeal to him that I just found appealing. He just picked Hogan up over his head, although he's weirdly holding him by the tights. It doesn't look quite as impressive. They're going for like, okay, so he turned a gorilla press into a backbreaker.
He's got to follow up that devastating move with another devastating move. Get that 3 count, Nikolai. 2, and he can't do it. Big mistake there. I'll agree with you, McMahon. Big mistake.
Michael B. totally made up for being in Fantastic Four, right? I didn't see the Fantastic Four movie, but I heard it was awful. Actually, funnily enough, Chris Evans played the Human Torch in the early 2000s Fantastic Four movie. So it's like, yeah, the Marvel Universe. It's redeeming old Human Torches one step at a time. Pile driver by the Bear, the Russian Bear. He can't get Hogan up in a pile driver. No way. Yeah, Hogan's going to flip him out. There you go. Is Jesse the best heel commentator or is that Heenan? Well, again, they're the two best. I would say they're the two best, but I'm going to... God, that's a flip a coin, take your pick. I can't really make a choice there. They're both great.
Well, it's obviously Freddie Blassie trained Volkov well. They had a game plan. Big Nikolai, the plan seems to be do anything and everything.
Another slam on Hogan. Hogan's hulking up. Boom! And boom! And 3! Whips him into the corner. Volkov misses! Down he goes! And the leg drop. Hogan hit like a spinning leg drop there. 1, 2, and 3. See, when Cena and Rusev had their flag match and it went on forever and was stupid, it's like, hey, can't you just have a regular match and then the winner has the flag raises? Must we overcomplicate it? That was fine. That was short and sweet. Get to the point. Let me desecrate another country's flag because sure. Let's wipe his boot with the flag. That's a Shawn Michaels move right there. Remember when Shawn put the Canadian flag up his nose and was like, with it? Because America. Yeah, America indeed. They need to, they thought a regular match was too awesome. They need to be a live Legends of the Hidden Temple, only not as awesome. Exactly. Legends of the Hidden Temple, that show was so great. It's like, come on, guys, you got to cheer louder.
The winner of this bout, and still World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, Hulk Hogan.
America, 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 America. Hogan won for America.
Saturday night's main event from the Meadowlands Sports Complex, and right now it's down to the arena floor to Mean Gene.
You know something, Mean Gene? I always wanted my comeback, brother. Yeah.
All right, Hulk Hogan, very strong words prior to your title defense, and even stronger actions backing it all up when you got in the ring. You think Nikolai Volkov finally learned his lesson?
Well, you know something, Mean Gene? If you rip this thing day and night, brother, you can believe in it, just like all these Hulkamaniacs do. But if Nikolai Volkov, brother, if you didn't get the message that the USA, the red, white, and blue is going to live forever, I'll explain it to you a little slower next time, baby doll.
All right.
Did you just call Volkov baby doll?
Your thoughts. There's going to be a big wedding here tonight, and you're going to be part of it.
Oh, that's why the Hogan match came first. He's got to be in the wedding.
You know, it's kind of nice that we know a little bit, and that all these people know that wrestlers are nice people too. I can't wait for this wedding. But what I'm
Did Hogan just call them wrestlers? You don't call them wrestlers. They're sports entertainers, dude. What are you doing?
I can't wait for that, Mean Gene.
All right, we're
more excited about it. Back to you, Vince McMahon. Oh, my. Oh, wow.
All right, well, we must be backstage. Yes. That's a sneak peek at the beautiful bride-to-be. Isn't that a
Now, what is the story behind this wedding? Was this actually like a legitimate wedding?
Isn't that dress just a little bit off-white? All right, let's go.
Ventura.
The best man.
Ventura, that was... What the... Is the dress a little off-white? That's a little off-color, Jesse, but I loved it. That was great.
However, as you know, Hillbilly Jim, the actual kid here, Uncle Elmer, along with Cousin Junior, he's got a big match coming up. You've got to be excited about it.
What's the best wrestler?
Wasn't Baby Doll the name of a Batman the Animated Series villain? Yes, a really good episode, actually. Actually, I mentioned the first episode with Baby Doll was really good, I thought. It's a weird one. It's a little weird, but I thought it was really good. Baby Doll came back in the 4th season when they had remade everything. It was like the New Adventures. And Lorraine Newman was the voice of the second Baby Doll in the 2nd episode. So nice little tie-in to Saturday Night Live here. And maybe this was before Vince completely lost his mind and banned all the sensible words, right? And pronouns. Can't have pronouns. Uncle Elmer had the match of the night at WrestleMania 2, did he not? He looks like Haystacks Calhoun, but nowhere near as cool. Like, Haystacks had more of a look to him than Uncle Elmer does. Did I like Batman Beyond? Yes, I did. It's funny because I thought I was going to hate it. I thought, like, Batman Beyond was going to be terrible, but I ended up actually really liking it. And I accepted Terry McGinnis as the new Batman. Goddamn, pal, no pronouns. Goddamn. Any Vince, like, if I ever break into a Vince impression now, I will start it by saying, well, goddamn. What's the pronouns? People got to know what you're talking about. Pronouns. They're the work of the devil. You didn't know that? What was the worst match at WrestleMania 2? Probably Uncle Elmer versus Adrian Adonis. Well, that was quick. I've never seen a match end on a regular body slam before. That was... At least they kept that mercifully short. I'll give them that. I think that beats Bundy's record at WrestleMania 1. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that was the first WrestleMania. Yeah, all right. Remember not to sneeze when you do your Vince impression. Yeah, I would love to see footage of Vince trying to hold back a sneeze. That must be hilarious. I will not sneeze. God damn it. Sneezing is for weak people. Did Hillbilly Jim just do a cartwheel? I'm kind of glad that match went as quick as it did. But yeah, does anybody know, like, the story of Uncle Elmer's wedding here? Was that, like, a legitimate wedding, or was this just something that they threw onto the show for the hell of it? Yeah, they're showing the Bundy SD Jones match. That was 9 seconds, but really not. Avalanche in the corner.
It's over just like that. King Kong Bundy has demolished SD Special Delivery Jones and I believe record time.
Sneezing is for the weak. Sleeping is for the weak. Pronouns are for the weak. Yeah.
Now here's the big body slam. Uncle Elmer slamming value coming down 456 pounds. That's all she wrote. Standing by, Mean Gene Oakland.
All right, gentlemen, I thank you very much. I'll tell you.
How the hell did Uncle Elmer break a sweat in that match?
One of the quickest in all history.
Hey, you know what? He shouldn't have never took that gun coat off if he wasn't planning on staying.
I remember that during the Monday Night Wars period. Yeah, they would show footage of the Hogan-Andre match and try to make it look like Hogan actually got beaten that match. which is like, okay. Sure. Is that Arnold Schwarzenegger? Is that Arnold Schwarzenegger? Holy shit! The Terminator himself.
Something known as the Body Shop. Welcome to the Body Shop, Jesse the Body Ventura. And let me tell you,
The Body Shop.
my guest, I want to introduce
This one didn't get over as well as Piper's Pit, I don't think.
Bobby the Brain Heenan. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Is there going to be a review of the Andre the Giant documentary? Yes, if and when I see it. I don't know when I'm going to see it. That's one of the things. But when I eventually do see it, I will review it for sure.
Is it true he fired you on national television? That man fired me. The only reason he did that was because he got word that 30 seconds down the road, I was going to kill him. Now, Bobby, you put a bounty on Orndorff's head, is that right? That's right, I did. I put a bounty on him. He wanted me out of wrestling, out of being a manager, tried to embarrass me, so I want him out of wrestling. Now, Bobby,
How many times did Orndorff fire Heenan?
why have you raised the bounty from 25,000 to 50? Well, you know, it's very hard to get anybody to do anything more than like for $25,000. And right here, Jess, you can see $50,000. Wow. Tell me, Bobby, how do you feel about Roddy Piper taking on Orndorff? It would be my pleasure to get Roddy Piper this evening $50,000. Let me say this, Bobby. If Mr. Wonderful's listening out there, what are the words?
What's with all the wrestling talk shows? Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like, everybody had to have a talk show. There was the Heartbreak Hotel. There was the Funeral Parlor. There was so many. It's just a lot. The Snake Pit.
Thank you, Bobby Heenan. My pleasure. The pleasure was yours. That's the Body Shop.
Bobby Heenan with that vindictive putting a hit out on somebody. That's nasty.
I not only saw it and I heard it. You know, Bobby Heenan, you're the man that caused all this. You were no good from the start. And by putting a $50,000 bounty on my head, do you think 1 minute that Roddy Piper is man?
Highlight Reel? Yeah, Highlight Reel was right in that same tradition. The Peep Show. What's Mrs. Show again? I've forgotten the name of it. What's the name of Mrs. Show? I've forgotten it. Oh, well. Somebody will list it.
Plumbing. Well, let me tell you, Piper, the only thing you know about
Yeah, they really like to put shop at the end. Because when I think of an interview segment, I think of a shop.
I'm ready for it.
It's a question that this man is physically ready, but mentally with that 50.
Ms. TV, thank you. Okay, I don't know how I forgot that.
Now, as always, the answer.
WCW had a flair for the gold. Yes, they did. That was Ric Flair's interview show. Paul Orndorff versus Roddy Piper. Been building since WrestleMania 1. I want Piper. I want that food.
Roddy Piper, Vince McMahon was quick to point out that Bobby Heenan has not always paid off on his body. Your thoughts on that?
Simple as this. Thoughts on it. If you don't pay me the $50,000, I'll let Bobby Heenan's thrown up too.
That's the right answer.
Some guy that's got baby oil all over was sitting here trying to look pretty. I don't need to put baby oil on me to look pretty. I don't need to tell you how tough I am. You know how tough I am. You don't want to give me the $50,000. I'll collect it from your grandmother if I have to collect it from her.
I'm very curious. I
What?
understand your attitude, Roddy Piper, toward the big wedding tonight for Uncle Elmer.
Think of it this way.
7 months in the making feels like forever nowadays. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But sometimes it's like you make them wait. That just makes it more exciting.
Who the hell needs that now?
Please give me a break, will you, Roddy Piper? Let's go back to my colleague, Vince McMahon, at ringside.
All right, Paul Orndorff looking very much.
Mr. Wonderful. It's very, very nice.
Roddy Piper.
Nice wordplay there on the tights.
What you're now hearing can mean only one thing. Roddy.
Nice entrance with the bagpipes. I like it.
Let me tell you something. I'm even a little jealous myself.
Good times.
What a show of class. The
Joe versus Angle and TNA could have used a 7-month build. I would have given them a year. I would have just said, fuck it, we're going to do this at Bound for Glory 07. I would not have done that first pay-per-view out. Absolutely not.
In all of professional wrestling today. Yes, indeed. Paul Orndorff is going to be ready.
What went wrong video idea? Joe versus Angle? Maybe. Perhaps.
Oh, Paul Orndorff wanting to let it right now. Piper now getting set to step through this first. Wait a minute, there's the weasel. He's back there with that Confederate money. If Piper wins the match, he'll never collect.
Here we go. Piper and Orndorff are beating the crap out of each other. I love it. Orndorff has the advantage. Here we go. Clothesline by Piper. Very nice. You do not throw rocks at a man who's got a machine gun. Absolutely not. God, they're just fighting. There's no, like... Now he's biting him.
This McMahon is a street fighter. There's no wrestling holds going on in there.
Piper's raking his eyes.
This is a street fight with ropes around it. That's all, Vince McMahon. 50,000, that should not be doing too.
DDT by Piper. Wow. Do you think Piper is the best talker of all time? He's up there. I think he's up there. Would Cesaro versus Brock Lesnar have worked as a WrestleMania 32 main event? Yeah, if they had built up Cesaro like they made it look like they were going to do, yeah. Some people call me the Hot Scott. Yeah, that whole like painting himself half black thing was really weird. That's the one thing. But it's like it's also memorable, so I can't fault him for it. It's like I remember it, so. I think so. I think the DDT was the first wrestling move of the match. Orndorff going on top. Elbows. Ooh, that looked nasty. That looked like he came down really hard on him. Back suplex.
That's the first wrestling move we've seen, Vince. Orndorff, put the momentum, put this capacity crowd behind it.
Orndorff beating the crap out of him. Oh, eye poke, boo. Dick face.
Almost got on his feet. When a gouge in the facial area, he left Black Piper.
There was enough to slow down Mr. Wonderful and Roddy turned the momentum.
The funniest thing about Piper painting himself half black was what happened afterwards, where he couldn't get the paint off, and it took him forever to scrub it off. Yeah, I've heard that story. Eye poke, vintage Ric Flair. Honestly, that's vintage 80s heel. Like, eye poke was like a go-to. Oh! Piper went for a splash, but Orndorff got the knees up. Crossbody, and both men fly out of the ring. Luger Brett Royal Rumble style almost. Piper swinging a chair. I think we're getting a double count out here. Yeah, they're fighting up the aisleway. Yep, double count out. How come when Jake uses the DDT, it's over, but when anyone else did it, it doesn't do anything? Because Jake would beat people with it. And Jake got the move over by, like, hurting people. So, don't let this match end in a count out. It did. It ended in a double count out. This feels like a setup for future matches. A backstage brawl. Those were rare back then. Yeah, how often did this happen back in the 80s? That was fun. I enjoyed that. You'd think they'd be building to Piper versus Mr. Wonderful 2 versus Mr. Wonderful at Mania 2 with this. Yeah, that may have been the idea in case Mr. T wasn't available or something. That might have been the plan. Yay, backstage Attitude Era. It's gotten so old. Yeah, it did. I mean, it's been overplayed. Attitude Era, it happened every week. I mean, with the hardcore title, it was like the thing that had to happen almost.
Let me tell you something that plays like a fan of
Again, I ask again, like, is this wedding, is this like a real wedding? Or is, oh, there's Andre and Hogan.
Can you imagine this lady is going to spend the rest of her life with this guy? Can you imagine McMahon waking up in the morning after a hard day's work and a tough day, telling me,
Oh, Andre and Hogan are holding the ropes for her. Isn't that nice?
Moving very slowly. She took one look at Hulk, one look at Andre, and maybe another one at Uncle Elmer'S. She went off there. Look at that. Is nice, I guess. Isn't it nice that they're sharing this with us?
well, I'll tell you what, McMahon, I wish that they weren't so nice to me. I really wish it wasn't
Ventura being
shared with me.
yeah, an episode of Saturday Night's Main Event is your wedding video, and you've got Ventura being an ass throughout the entire thing.
The presence of this company to join together this man and this woman in the sacred ties of matrimony. A marriage is not to be entered into lightly, but rather reverently and discreetly.
Judge George Savino,
I charge you both
the
to
charges.
remember that love and loyalty alone will avail
Would you like to have
as
that
the
picture? Would you like to have that framed
foundations
in your
of a
living room?
happy,
Look at that.
enduring home.
That's nice.
Just like Randy Savage would do to Miss Elizabeth in about 6 years. Well, that's so funny. See, that was a work wedding because they were already married. It's like this one, I legitimately don't know. It's like, is this a, I hate to say it, is this a shoot or is this a work? And if it is a work, what's the point?
He does well.
I guess he's going to support her. Can you imagine what she has to support him?
Will you love him, respect him, and support him through good times and bad?
I will.
You join hands.
Yeah, Hogan and Andre, they were best buds
Says I will.
prior to the Mania 3 build-up. And, yeah, this tonight will actually be Andre the Giant. And it's funny because Andre's wrestling later in the show. He's in his wrestling tights at a wedding ceremony. That's hilarious. And Hogan's got this cut-off sleeve like friggin' like cummerbund and all sorts of shit. And it's like, wow, this is what a motley crew. Hillbilly Jim's in overalls wearing a tie. Uncle Elmer's wearing a tie and overalls.
I pledge myself to you.
I pledge myself to you.
You know, the guy can't read. Now he can't even hear.
I, Joyce,
Please do not interrupt us.
accept you as my husband.
Please, Joyce, you can still get out of it.
Ventura.
Did you see that McMahon aside from the heaven?
Somebody just threw something. Oh my God, the crowd. I don't think the crowd is like it. Somebody just threw something at the bride, which is like, that's mean.
All right, here it comes now, Jess. Here comes the ring.
Are the rings going on fingers or in noses?
Would you? This is a wedding.
According to Wiki, it's a shoot, but Wiki ain't the most accurate. Yeah, it's not, but I'll just assume it's a shoot until I hear otherwise.
That's not a premonition of what's going to come later.
These two are both very visible. No doubt about that.
We're having some difficulty.
Yeah, I wish Motley Crue was here right now. That'd be great.
Please repeat after me, Uncle Elmer.
All right, here we go now.
I give you this ring as a sign.
I can't hear you.
As a sign.
I give you this ring as a sign. You
Of
gotta
my
like a
constant
second.
faith and abiding love.
And my intention, faith, and body love.
Ventura is just.
Would you please stop it? He got it right. He's nervous.
Oh my God.
He's nervous.
Please repeat after me. I give you this ring as a sign.
I give you this ring as a sign.
Of my constant
I don't think the crowd is liking this too much.
Constant faith and abiding love.
She's got to be the
Now,
greatest liar in
if
the
any
world.
person here shows cause, my Uncle Elmer
Ventura is such a dick, but it's great.
join together. Let him now speak, or else forever hold his peace.
I didn't do nothing to him.
Yeah. Oh, Roddy. Okay, so it must be at work then. Roddy Piper's out to spoil the party. Piper objects for some reason. Oh God, if Piper cut this promo today, he'd be the most over guy. He'd be the biggest babyface.
This shows no record whatsoever for this solemn and sacred ceremony.
Yeah, Jesse was actually, during the guest host here, Jesse was one of the better ones. Where's Jake Roberts with the snake in the box? He didn't sign with WWE yet. He didn't come in until... Actually, he may have been there at this point, but he wasn't like a significant enough part of the show.
By the authority vested in me, by the laws of the state of
So Roddy came out just to be an asshole? Okay.
to be husband and wife.
Did I just hear Vince McMahon yell hooray? That was weird.
Looks like two carp in the river going after the same corn on a hook.
Oh my God. Mean Gene.
This was something very, very special, Jesse. Where's the smart bucket? I'm getting sick. And there, Royce has left Elmer steps up. Watch yourself. You gotta remember later on. Right over the top rope. Elmer on. All right, Elmer. You did it. You did it, Elmer. Royce did it.
Why is there a pig now?
We're back here now at the reception area.
Why are they letting live pigs run around in the reception area? That is unsanitary as hell. That is no, you do not have live animals around food. That's disgusting. That is so gross. Turns my stomach. Goddamn, hooray!
All right, with me at this time, King Kong Bundy, Big John Studd, and Bobby Heenan, gentlemen, you just couldn't help but be moved by that beautiful wedding ceremony.
I'll tell you the move in just a minute. First of all,
Yeah, this is a full, what, like almost a decade before the Godwins would show up? We got pig farmers. King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd.
because he's trying to knock me out and say, well, I am the China wrestling. He's the other China wrestling. Andre's number 3. It's a long time under the track. Been running that professional wrestling, running roughshod over everybody, and we're putting a stop to it. Going around telling everybody he can slam me, well, I can't be slammed. And remember this.
Pretty sure he slammed you at WrestleMania, buddy. I actually just watched a cage match between Studd and Andre, too, where Andre slammed him in that match, too.
NBC television here has a big peacock. And in just a couple minutes, you're going to see a big 500-pound turkey go right down.
Ooh, Bobby with some strong words.
We'll be right back after this.
Okay, now, if I'm not mistaken, this match, it's Andre the Giant. Look at the Happy Giant making his Saturday night's main event in-ring debut. But anyway, Andre and Tony Atlas are the team here, and Hogan would get involved post-match, and that would start the build-up to Hogan versus Bundy at WrestleMania 2. If Bundy is King Kong, who's Godzilla? Well, Big John Studd, obviously.
Come on, referee, do something even if it's wrong. The referee has no control. There's no way.
Oh, man.
Bundy or Studd.
Got some footage of Bundy and Studd just killing Andre. See, if I recall, this match is really just a setup for future matches involving Hogan. Yes, this is... hey, Gold Standard, how you doing? Yeah, this is the second episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. Did you know Samoa Joe's a big Godzilla fan? I assumed he was because of his theme music. Always had like that Godzilla tone to it. It's like, the guy has good taste. Clearly. I'm also quite the Godzilla aficionado. How would you like to be behind Andre's butt in the corner? That must not be fun.
Bundy's win by choking him out there. He's going back to the scrap again, it looks like.
Andre's choking Bundy.
Andre and Bundy one-on-one. What a massive humanity. Both men very close to the 500-pound mark. Look at that. Andre using the head of Almas, his tag team partner, today's King Kong.
There's Tony Atlas.
Let's see what now Atlas can do against King Kong Bundy.
You introduced me to Godzilla with movie reviews. Well, I'm glad that I was able to do that for you. My kaiju movie reviews will be coming up later this year as well. So a lot more, hopefully I can get you a lot more movie recommendations for the giant monster type of film. Did Atlas just fall down? Oops. Leapfrog. The future Saba Simba, ladies and gentlemen. That's not Tony Atlas. Oh, no, wait, what did Piper say? That's not Saba Simba. That's Tony Atlas. Why'd he change his name? That's Tony Atlas. Failed dropkick. You know, one thing that Andre would always do in tag matches that I always appreciated, he would always kind of like reach out and try to grab the guy if he got too close to the corner, like one of his opponents. I always like that. It's like Andre's just always working. Always like trying to add something to the match. And an avalanche on, or a big splash on Tony Atlas. My dad and I watched King Kong versus Godzilla for the first time a couple years ago. First thing he said was, that is an ugly King Kong. And your dad is right. That is not the best design that King Kong has ever had. Hopefully the Skull Island Kong that we saw will be what they use in the Kong versus Godzilla movie in 2020. That's not Bray Wyatt. That's Husky Harris. Andre's in there and he's doing headbutts, chopping. Looking at your top matches of February, think you'll be adding more NXT in March. Without spoiling, that's all I'll say. Probably, we'll see. I've already had this week's episode recommended to me, so I haven't watched it yet. Oh, man. This match is breaking down. Now Studd and Bundy are just beating up on Andre. Because apparently Atlas was a useless partner. And now I think Bundy and Studd have been disqualified for, you know, not following the tag team rules and not getting out on the count of 5, that type of shit. You know. God, Andre really looks. Yeah, you can tell this is like towards the end of Andre's career. He really looks at it. And there's Hulk Hogan for the save. Still wearing his outfit from the wedding, because of course. Oh, that's cool. You were at the NXT tapings. That's awesome. Well, I'll ask you this, because it won't be much of a spoiler. Do they set up and officially make Gargano versus Ciampa official for TakeOver? Because that's really the big thing I'm looking forward to. Now, this match would ultimately be used to set up like Hogan and Andre versus Bundy and Stud, which I believe would then transition into Hogan versus Bundy.
Cien's got the story on Hulk Hogan's astonishing participation in the Battle of the Giants. Cien, take it away. All right, Hulk Hogan. A tremendously strange.
Honestly, I'm more excited for Gargano versus Ciampa over AJ Nakamura, just because of the build-up they've put into it. Like, I'm super stoked for Gargano versus Ciampa.
They've been trying to take shortcuts on Tony Atlas. Andre the Giant, Tony Atlas, they were the winners, man. That's why I came out here.
All right, I should point out the official decision. Andre the Giant and Tony Atlas winning this one. Tony really taking quite a beating. Now, I understand there's even more happening at this very moment.
Yeah, there's a lot more happening right now, Mean Gene. We're just going to wait just a little while before we inform everybody of what's going down.
Well, if we ever had a tag team matchup with Hulk and Andre against Bundy and Stud here on Saturday night's main event, that would be spectacular. However, right now we have an update from our last main event back in May. Mean Gene Oakland went into the field to get this story. Stand by for Mean Gene Oakland.
They do not. They never announced it to the audience. I'm guessing that they are saving it for the next set of tapings, but there is a good build-up towards that match. Okay.
No, not Marlon Perkins. Hi, everybody. This is Jungle Gene Okerlund.
What the hell?
And we are here looking for the most cunning and elusive creature on this entire planet. No, it's not
that car that Gene is driving.
Or Judge Crater. I can only be talking about George the Animal Steel.
I think Hogan's heel turn at Bash to the Beach is one of the top 5 heel turns of all time. I think it is arguably the #1 heel turn of all time. It was excellent.
Come along, follow me if you would. Animal, George Steele. Oh, George Steele. Hey, George Steele.
There's George.
Goodness, am I glad that I found you.
Hanging out with,
the entire world
what are those,
has been looking
camels?
for you, and we found you here at the Detroit Zoo. Yes, that's a camel. But George, to update your fans, the last scene you looked in perfect form for that 6-man tag match.
Wait, so this was the tag match back in May, and this is the first time they followed up with George since then? Okay. I remember that oh my God, with the psychiatrist.
So this is where you fled to, George. If at all possible, can you show me a little bit more of the zoo? I'd like to see some other animals. Oh, no offense, please. Well, this is the Elphus Maximus, better known as the Elphus.
I did not see Bash to the Beach 96 live. I heard about it the next day and my jaw dropped. I was like, actually, when somebody told me what happened, I was like, no, seriously, what happened? It's like, no, Hogan was the third man. I'm like, holy shit.
Tiger's den seems to be very, very dark in there.
That tiger looks very lethargic.
What tiger is that?
Detroit?
A Detroit tiger, wow.
All right, these are very interesting. This is the ring-tailed lemur, George, here at the zoo. Looks to me like they're half monkey and half weasel. But they're very attractive animals.
Good tail.
Now, this is one of the stranger animals here at the zoo. This is oh, look at there, the hippopotamus. Part of the
I like hippos. Hippos are cool.
Bundy.
George of the Jungle. Yes, he is George of the Jungle.
And I must admit, there is a physical resemblance. But what about the hair, George? The hair. George, the Animal Steel, it has been a sensational visit with you here at the Detroit Zoological Park. George, I'm glad to see that you're... Oh, I stepped in something. George, I'm glad to see that you're we look forward to seeing you back in the ring.
Bye.
Goodbye, George. Goodbye.
And off he goes. Well, that was a weird segment.
George the Animal Steel's recovering so nicely. All of us in the World Wrestling Federation certainly look forward to his return to the square circle. However, right now,
is that Tony Gurria? Is that Lanny Poffo?
Along with Tony Gurria However, not in the ring, but certainly to make their entrance in momentarily, the tag team title holders there with Mean Gene right now. All right, fans, with me at this.
There's Valentine and Beefcake.
Along with manager Luscious Scotty Valiant. Tonight, gentlemen, it's an unknown quantity. I'm talking about Lipanlady Pafo and five-time co-holder of the tag team title belts, Tony Garea.
Come on, BT. We are the World Tag Team Champions of the World Wrestling Federation. We'll take on anybody. We'll fight anybody. For that matter, we'll take on you right now.
Wait a minute.
Do they ever do a Lanny Poffo or Randy Savage? Do they ever do Lanny Poffo versus Randy Savage or a team-up or a match? Not that I recall. Who knows? It might show up on one of these episodes of Saturday Night's Main Event. Who knows?
On August the 24th. And for those of you watching, let's go back and we're going to bring you up to date with this.
Look out, looking forward. Rush's John just landed something. Captain Louis Alberto coming up now. But look at that, some kind of a foreign object. He ran right across his eyes. Landed for his beefcake and he used it. I'm very window. He's blinded.
Well, Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo will be sitting ringside, and we're going to be taking you to the tag team title bout after these important messages. Don't go.
How the hell did Lanny Poffo and Tony Garea get a tag title shot? Do you think Savage was a better heel or face? He was excellent as both. He was a lovable face, totally charismatic and cool. And when he was a heel, he was intense as hell and downright like intimidating. So he worked either way. He was one of those guys that's like, I really don't have an answer. He worked well both ways. The only interaction those two had was Savage's coronation as king, probably. Other than that, I don't really know of any other like matches that they were involved in together. Savage was the man back then. He was awesome. He was the real like. Oh, there's Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo, ex-tag team champions, watching from ringside.
Yeah, they're looking on. The former champs are looking on with interest, but I'll tell you, I think they got a long way to go before they're going to take any title from Valentine and Beefcake.
Lanny Poffo skipped up by Valentine. What a slam that was. Valentine tagging in. Brutus Beefcake wide open, leaping Lanny. Nice maneuver by Poffo. Poffo with the right hand. A kick in the midsection on the Beefcake. Over he goes.
God, Lanny Poffo looks like a porn star. He looks like a 70s porn star. I mean, it's like Joey Ryan before there was Joey Ryan. A moonsault by Lanny. Look at that. Sure, Vince. Savage versus Black Machismo Jay Lethal. That would have been interesting. I'd rather see the tag team, to be honest. Boom. Nothing says main event like Lanny Poffo and Tony Garea getting a tag title shot. This is one of those, like I talked about, they would front load the Saturday night's main events, and this is just one of those situations where the least important match is the one that closes. Did you see the Eddie Edwards, Sami Callihan baseball bat video going around? I have not. What's the baseball bat video? I haven't even heard about it.
Oh, so close. So very close. Tony Garea.
I'd say this, Poffo and Garea have gotten way more offense than I ever thought they would. Valentine with an elbow. Figure four. I haven't seen a figure four today.
He's sucked it in. He's got it hooked. It looks bad for Garea. Valentine tucked
Oh my God, Valentine actually won with a figure 4. This must really be the mid-'80s. I wonder if Vincey is yelling in his own earpiece. Yeah, that's weird. Like, how did he handle commentary when he was the one at the booth? Savage back then is what Shawn Michaels would be later on. I think that's a fair assessment. That's kind of true. Like, the best body of work in the company. I think it's a fair assessment. Well, they made quick work of Gurria and Pafo. Valentine and Beefcake retain. Would go on to have some really good matches with the British Bulldogs. One of them at WrestleMania 2. I thought they had the match of the night at WrestleMania 2. And then had a couple more matches on Saturday Night's Main Event, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm really looking forward to the next part of the evening. It's time for you and me to be heading for Uncle Elmer's wedding reception.
Wedding reception, hooray.
Okay, hopefully Vince McMahon can cool down Jesse the Body Ventura before he arrives at this festive.
Oh, look at that. Orndorff and Hogan are sitting next to each other.
The party's on its way, and it promises to be quite a bash, with a lot of big surprises in store for us all.
I'll tell you that wedding was something else, and there's no doubt that the reception here.
How would you like to sit at that table? Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan, Paul Orndorff, and Jesse Ventura.
What am I writing? What are you doing? I'm writing a poem. You sure came with Belfer to go along with your wardrobe.
Did you know that the American Wolves were at one point going to NXT and be called the American Bulldogs? I hadn't heard the American Bulldogs thing. I did. I knew that they were set to go to NXT, and then things fell through. But that would have been interesting if they were called the American Bulldogs.
I thought it was great, Vince. It's part of history. It's the second time ever somebody getting married on the since 1969. I thought it was great. You know, he been married and bring it back to work. I won't be here at all. Jesse, would you please tell me what coolant? Hey, I dressed down.
Interesting. Okay, I'll check it out. Apparently, this baseball bat video is getting some attention, which for Impact Wrestling is like anything they can do to garner any kind of attention is good. Like the Lucha Underground cross promotion they're doing at WrestleCon.
What I'm trying to do, Gene, is show the cousin how to eat, baby. I'm trying to use the left hand at all times. So don't matter about the left hand. You can pick up butter. You can even take and dunk and anything you want in the left hand. Because you always want to keep that right.
Did he just dip chicken in champagne? Again, it's like the personalities from wrestling. It's like Lou. That's just Lou being Lou. Lanny Poffo still in his wrestling gear, looks naked at the table.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much, Eugene. On this auspicious occasion, a loving commitment for life, Joyce Stasko and Uncle Elmer are united as man and wife. Unselfishly, they share their love with every single wrestling fan who supported Uncle Elmer, a wonderful, big-hearted man. And we thank them for this moment so the multitudes may see the joy of the Holy Spirit through the family of NBC.
Nice poem there, Lanny. Nice poem. And
Let me bring in the Bruin. I'm confused here. I'm sorry about that. Hillbilly Jim, your thoughts on this great wedding?
I want to propose a toast to Uncle Elmer and Joyce. Everybody all ready?
Wonder if Captain Lou plays Mario games. I wonder too. Like, I wonder if Captain Lou would like film an episode of the Super Mario Show and then go in and just play Mario.
Whenever it's Sunday, I'm open for dinner invites.
How about that? Can't get any better than that. Very good. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Hillbilly Jim. All right, here's a big moment. We've got our surprise guest, and it's going to be a very auspicious occasion. Joyce and Elmer, get ready. A man who was without a doubt part of television's biggest wedding up to tonight. My very dear, close, personal, longtime friend, ladies and gentlemen, Tiny Tim. Looks like the advanced man for Ringling Brothers.
Does anyone remember when Tiny Tim had like that brief feud with Jerry Lawler where Jerry Lawler broke his ukulele? Does anyone remember that, or is that just me?
So nice coming from you, a dear old friend of mine.
Great for you to be here.
And it's a pleasure being here, especially at this beautiful wedding for Mr. Elmer and Miss Joyce on this most important night of all nights. And
have you played, or do you plan on playing Super Mario Odyssey? I haven't played it. I don't have a Switch yet. It's one of those ones I'll eventually, because eventually I'm going to get a Switch. When I get a Switch, that'll probably be the first game I pick up. So. It looks awesome. I that's the first video game in years where I saw the trailer and was like, I have to play that. that looks incredible because, you know, most video game trailers nowadays piss me off because they show like cinematic cutscenes. I'm like, guys, show me the gameplay. That's the thing that I want to see, the gameplay. And Super Mario Odyssey was all about showing off the gameplay, and it looked incredible. So, yeah, I do want to play it.
Very good. Thank you very much, Tiny Tim. It's been a long time.
Does anyone remember Jerry Lawler and his Knights? I remember Jerry Lawler getting pulled from Survivor Series 93 and couldn't be in the same team as his Knights. I remember that.
There's always a place in life for love, a place for the lily, a place for the dove. There's always a time in life to care, a time to cuddle, a time to share. Yes, a time and place for everything, a place to dance and a time to sing. Now I've seen your dance and I've heard your song, and I must tell you that this is wrong. That wrestling is a deadly dance and is no partner to romance. And shame on those who ever did mix wrestling and romance just for these hicks. Ha ha ha.
Oh, wait a minute, just a second here.
Well, now we got Hillbilly Jim, Orndorff, and Jesse. Second Saturday night's main event in a row. Somebody goes into the keg. It's become a running gag.
I told you it will be more fun than the Longshoremen's convention. We're going to sort it out, and fans, we're back after this. Don't go away.
Wait, this is still going? I thought this was the end.
Oh, my. All right, we just received great news for everyone except Andre the Giant and perhaps Hulk Hogan, in that Bobby the Brain Heenan, on behalf of King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd, have accepted the terms and conditions. They've accepted the challenge and will face you 4 weeks from tonight in the tag team matchup.
Wouldn't it make more sense if it was Shawn Michaels and his Hearts? Probably.
Heenan, this is going to be a nightmare. You got to see Hulkamania run wild. Can you imagine Andre the Giant in my corner, 525 pounds of extra human meat, running wild? Hulkamania is going to run wilder than it ever has.
It'll run wild 4 weeks from tonight on our next Saturday night's main event. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So yeah, it's like I said, they set up their main event for the next Saturday night's main event.
On behalf of all of my colleagues, we certainly hope you've enjoyed the festivities here tonight. We'll see you 4 weeks from tonight on our next Saturday night's main event.
Okay. All right, so that was the second episode of Saturday night's main event. Didn't enjoy it as much as last week's. There were a couple fun things on there, like the Piper Orndorff brawl. I can't even call it a match. I thought that was well done and a lot of fun. The Hogan Volkov match was short and sweet, but overall it was just kind of like very not the more memorable matches in Saturday night's main event's history, and this wedding stuff was just, I don't know, it felt pointless. Although, you know, Piper got a few licks in and Ventura got a few licks in, so there was some, it wasn't a complete waste, but overall, not as strong as last week's show, and not as good as the Clash of Champions I just watched. Clash of Champions, the first Clash of Champions was amazing. That was excellent. So, but yeah, still, there's still some entertaining stuff in there if you want to watch it. Okay, and we are done with all of that. Feels good to watch a wrestling show where they didn't set up the main event halfway through the show, right? They have all their matches planned out in advance. It's crazy, right? What a novel concept. In WWE 2K14, the Rock and Wrestling era, they called it the Hulkamania Runs Wild era. I guess that's somewhat appropriate given, you know, who the top guy was during that time. But yeah, that's about all I've got for you guys. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. This stream will be posted on my channel once it's all done. But that is all I have for you now. So unless there are any other questions, I think I could probably sign off here. All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll be back next week with another Clash of Champions and another Saturday night's main event. But until then, y'all have a good one.